Hello, YouTube. Hi, how you doing? Welcome to Second Wake, episode 27. Thanks. Let's bully somebody. Again, no bullying. Let's bully... Orville's not feeling it. I picked on somebody else last time. Let's bully Colt. I feel like I want to bully Colt. Because Colt's...
How did I know I was going to tell...
Here's why we're bullying Colt.
Today.
here's why we're bullying Colt. Colt is leaving the state and leaving me all home alone so he can pursue his dreams of being a journeyman. And I'm upset. So... Colt's going to be tuning in future episodes in like a month or so from like a freaking Waffle House. So if his connection is just like audio only for a little bit, bear with him. But yeah, so that's why I'm going to bully you today because I'm codependent. Now I'm be all alone and sad. So that's how that works. All right, go ahead, Colt. What happened last time?
All right, so last time, yeah, hold on. I got to pull up my notes. Damn it.
Ooh, he takes notes. We love a man that takes notes.
My notes aren't updated, so so last time, Baron,
I believe in you.
Baron.
His name is either Maxi Zeus
or
Maximiliard.
We'll say Baron. Baron de Silvia. Yep, that guy. Anyway,
De Cruz.
Yeah, the Baron.
There you go.
We met up with him. We all took showers. We met up with him. We had dinner, a very luxurious dinner full of shrimp and all kinds of stuff. Whiskey or bourbon, some fine, expensive wine. And we discussed just what kind of the current affairs of what was going on in terms of the city, Wren's Fork. As well as what our mission was further south to Steam Fields. And basically, long story short, the Baron kind of wanted us to do our investigation, but in the end, heavily implying that he wants a good review, for his city and what's going on, I guess. And, I mean... I'll be honest, I don't remember what else we did. I think that was the majority of the session. We were just discussing things with him. I don't think we set out. Yeah. That's what I remember. That's where my memory is.
Oh, okay. We'll try to fill in the gaps with concrete and cement. So for anyone tuning in, I always like to have the players do it so I can kind of get a little bit of perspective as to what they remember, the highlights of the episode, what they took to heart or recalled, and then I kind of try to fill in the gaps as well. So it's a bit of double duty. I had a comment about it on YouTube, so I just wanted to explain the process. And yes, I am wholesale ripping that off from Matthew Colville. Y'all can suck it. Anyway, can I say suck it? Yeah, we're on 28 minutes. I can say suck it, fuck it, luck it, whatever. We can say all the words. All the words. So yes, the group met last week after arriving at Wren's Fork, well, some would say the southernmost part of the capital and country of Ravon. The King of Silverhearth's kind of full reach of control on the area. Many would claim ends at Wren's Fork. Others would say it ends in Odrin, but that is up for dispute for another day. After arriving late into the evening, the group began their day by meeting, coming up with a strategy, discussing a number of points to discuss with the Baron, and met for a very late dinner with Baron Maximiliano de Cruz, of which they were welcomed in his company, treated as royal guests ought to be treated, and more or less given insight into the Baron and his various compatriots, servants, what have you. After coming to terms and rather realizations with what the Baron's expectations were, they were informed that the Baron was meeting further in the following day with a number of individuals interested in establishing something new across the river. He excused himself for an early dinner after a very much excited, jubilant, almost fanatical enjoyment over the mention of a certain card game that is local to the region, that he was more than excited to try and get people to play with him, only to realize the Seekers of Galanti, our brave heroes, those people over there are not card gamers, unfortunately. They're adventuring types, and they are Weaver's Chosen, but they have not yet become players in the game known as Collected Conquest. To that as well, the group decided that a late evening was nothing to waste, and to continue to burn the midnight oil, Bucky taking with him some of the very expensive wine, and they headed to the small, almost hamleted inn of the area, the only real tavern and drinking place in this very small and quiet town of merchants and individuals that like to live the frontier lifestyle. After coming to visit, they caught the tail end of what seemed to be a tournament, or an impromptu one, of players of, again, the local entertainment of Collected Conquest, coming to view a number of the local color and culture, and viewing and speaking with a number of individuals within the tavern itself. Velithil as well, meeting a wood elf hunter known as Lethiel, and speaking with him about the potential need for a guide or somewhat of a Sherpa through the steam fields, knowing and being told throughout the local residences as well as the Baron that the steam fields were a danger onto those who are new to them. After finishing the drinks, paying for all of their evening's revelries, and heading back to the manor home of Baron Maximiliano de Cruz, the group found a solid and pleasant long rest. So at this point, players, you can activate your long rest. During this time, Morgan, you went to bed early. They decided to have dinner somewhere around like 8-9 o'clock at night. You were like, this has goose feathers in it. I'm sleeping the whole night. As well, your small gnomish friend, who has somewhat tagged along to the Seekers, ordered most of his food to his room and has been otherwise unavailable for the entirety of this evening. But with a long rest, a full recovery, a regain of spell slots, of ability, of hit dice, etc., 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 you all, the Seekers of Galanti, the Weavers Chosen under the banner of the Realm Weavers themselves, having arrived within Wren's Fork with much to do and much to discuss, find yourselves situated and poised for the next step in your eventual journey. As you awake, the sun beats heavily throughout the entirety of the Lord's Manor, of the Baron's Manor, apologies. And you can feel that there are a number of comforts that the road has long since failed to provide. There is something to be said about having 4 heavy-set walls and the protection of a manor guard in place that helps you sleep a bit easier for some. For others, most likely Colt and other militaristic individuals, it is an uneasy but welcomed series of rest. And as you all stir and awaken, you find again your clothes from the previous evening have been washed, laundered, sewn, patched, repaired, and otherwise made ready for you this next morning, and set out on display with a kind of a welcoming treat, in that it has all been well taken care of for you while you rested, and upon your awakening, all is available to you should you so wish to don your traveling clothes or wear something a bit more casual. The options are open to you. And with that, I will ask the signature Dungeons and Dragons question. What would you all like to do?
I'm going to put on my
we
traveling
all
clothes.
sleep in.
Val rolls, sees the sun, and goes, that shit. Colt, you put on your traveling outfit instead of your fancy clothes?
Yeah.
All right. Are we donning your plate mail again?
Same.
Yep.
Okay. Vel, you make ready for the road. Colt, you don your plate mail, set it into pieces, and have it adorned. You spend much of the morning donning your armor, the process taking quite a long time by yourself. But easily done. You manage to get everything together, and very much your plate mail fits a little bit nicer than the previous day, wearing it over noble clothes and floofy garments. Everything seems to kind of fit in place as it should. For the rest of you, Morgan, JJ, Orville, Bucky, what's the play?
JJ's also gonna go ahead and don her traveling stuff and ask for some coffee and a biscuit.
Sure. You reach out, open the door to your kind of borrowed room. You look out into the hallway, and you'd see down the corridor one of the tiefling butlers of the Baron, kind of standing guard and watch over the area. As you kind of wave your hand out, they approach, you make your order known, and they go, "Of course, and might your companions seek the same?"
It might be good to bring them a little something as well.
We will make arrangements in the common room on the outside of the annex, if that is quite all right with you.
Thank you very much.
Have a good morrow. And they walk away and make haste to have this prepared for you. Bucky, Orville, Morgan, anything you guys want to do before rejoining the group?
Bucky's gonna put his armor on and saunter out into the room with the food.
Saunter. A clip clop of your satyr-like hooves as you saunter into the room. I like that. It's a nice $10 word. Orville, anything you'd like to do?
Yeah, he's gonna put on his traveling clothes, but he's keeping the super comfy slippers. Wearing
of course.
those out as well.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you? You know.
Yeah, the floppy leather tacos that he tried to fashion for himself just aren't cutting it anymore.
Yeah, go figure.
Slippers are bust.
Yeah, who knows? It's like an actual shoe person made the what is it? A cobbler, right? A cobbler makes shoes? Yeah, cobblers.
Yes.
I'm like, I can never remember cobbler or hatters, like which you should know it's a hatter, right? But it's HAD. Anyway. Whoo, ADD in full effect. Morgan, anything you want to do before rejoining the group for breakfast?
Just the same. Put on my traveling clothes and get ready.
All right, easy to do. So you all make ready. You don your various traveling garment. Everything that you arrived in the city now patched, repaired, cleaned, and made available to you. You walk from your, again, very lavish rooms and arrive in a small common room in which a collection of 7 teacups has been set out. Fresh brewed coffee poured, and as you look, you can see one of the maids as she is setting out the various accoutrement for enjoying this meal. You note that she kind of views and sees Morgan and goes, "Oh," and seems to kind of almost kick herself a bit before turning around and bringing back and turning with a very small, almost thimble-like cup. And she sits it down and pours only a few drops of coffee to fill it and sets it down in a place where she thinks Morgan will be easily sated. The well-cursed rogue of our group now standing a meager 3 foot tall. not even 3 foot tall. You're like, God, what is that? I said in inches, right? Very short, very, very short. Pixie-sized, in fact. Yeah, God, I'm saying 3 foot because it's my goblin, but that's not true. You're small enough to ride a cat. You're like almost 12 inches. We're getting there. So yeah, you all join. You see, as things are prepared out, there are a number of small, freshly baked biscuits set out aside. A small saucer of honey has been placed out. For many of you, you also see toasted pieces of bread, and a number of soft cream cheeses have been set aside with proper knives and applicators to serve you well. The maid kind of holds a large silver tray in her hands, and she turns to look at you and she goes, "Lords and ladies, if there is anything else, I will happily bring it to you, but if there is nothing else, I will leave you to it to enjoy your morning."
I think we're all right, y'all.
Thank you.
Of course.
I believe so. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yep, thank you very much.
It is the Baron's will. And she kind of gives a small nod and walks down and leaves you to your breakfast. As you all are sitting there, you hear a door unlock. You see a head pop out from down the hallway, and the small, rotund, gnomish individual who has been traveling with you kind of effortlessly makes his way out of his room, looks left, looks right, and walks forward and slowly rejoins you all. You see that he is still in what would be considered evening wear, kind of like pajama pants with feets covering them up, and a very bright floral pattern. And he looks you all over and he goes, Well, now this is interesting. Good morning to each of you. I think I will just collect a cup and something to eat and return to this lavish room. Are you planning on leaving town today or tomorrow?
I don't think we quite know yet. It could be by end of day today. It could be tomorrow.
Okay, well, I will continue to enjoy this very welcoming place here. I understand there's a market. I might make motion there later in the day. If you have any plans to make a quick egress, I would just simply ask that you perhaps make mention of it to me so that I could join you.
I don't think that'd be too difficult.
Well, very good then, very good. I will, I will look forward to it. Oh, weavers chosen and captains of Golanti. Be good. And as he says this the entire time, he's already grabbed his saucer and cup and has thrown on about 3 or 4 biscuits and just drizzled honey over the top of it. And then already by the time he's saying be good, he's about 5 steps away from the table, halfway towards the back, towards his room, ready to kind of just enjoy the life of luxury that is being provided to him.
Got off very well for about 10 golden travel costs, I have to say. Good for him.
I have to agree with that.
So, what's our plan today? Do we all want to go everywhere together, or should we split up to handle what needs to be done?
I mean, this town seems safe enough that we could split up. I think.
What's more,
I mean,
wasn't really worried about safety so much of how quickly we want to get things taken care of. I don't know how long the protective leathers for the horses will take to fashion.
Yeah, we should, I mean, maybe we should all head over to the market square. And then maybe see what all we can do, split up from there, and then we can meet back there or here by a certain time.
So I think we should. I agree. We can, once we know what we're looking into and how much time it'll take, we can decide where we'll meet back up. Figure that out once we've seen the market a bit.
Indeed,
Yeah, I agree.
indeed.
That sounds good to
I
me.
know that I wanted to check out Folk's Fortune. I think Bucky was interested in that as well, so he got us that bit of information. And hopefully the practitioner and seller of that interesting game.
Indeed. Yeah, I'd like to do that as well. JJ's just kind of flipping through her book, trying to figure out exactly what they had said they needed. Forgive me, truly. But the Baron did say you could find magical items at the Sopping Guppy. Are we thinking then that is a
Folk Fortunes.
Fortunes? Okay.
Yes. The Sopping Guppy seemed to be somewhere he was recommending for more entertainment purposes, I believe.
Gotcha. Okay,
Fine.
okay.
Got his meaning and his attendant's reaction to it. Samson's.
Certainly. Okay, gotcha. Thank you for the clarification. I don't always know these things so well.
That's quite all right. Does anyone else have anything you might want to look for?
not
Pretty decent
particularly.
trade town.
I just
Well-
don't think I got enough money for anything real nice, but
Didn't you get? Oh no, that's right. You got. Never mind. That's right. You get all the nice things called. You're reminding me of the group's generosity to you and.
anyway, ready to go? Let's head out.
Where to
Well,
for the
Phil-
group?
Morgan, do you want to look for anything in particular?
Not that I can think of.
Orville?
Well, I suppose we'll head on down to the market square, huh?
Yes.
All right. So
I
you
will
all,
thank the attendant for their service and breakfast as we leave.
of course, you all enjoy the beginning of your breakfast. You partake of the coffee and small warm teas that are provided to you, and make egress to the town, and actually more like a hamlet. Again, I continue to say town, but it's rather small, of Wren's Fork. It is legitimately a stopover town. Hamlet. Words are hard. But you exit the Baron's manor home. You head southern or southwest or southeast. There we go. Down the road to the square proper, the Hamlet Square. And before too long, inside of, again, about a half hour or more of travel time by foot, you arrive within a rather bustling, beautiful place. Along your journey, as the darkness begins to peel across. Yes.
Would we not bring the horses if we're planning on getting them their leathers made, or?
That is up to you guys. I don't know.
I guess I just want to ask that to the group before we decide if we're walking by foot without bringing them.
Ooh.
Yeah, we should bring the
I mean, all horses are pretty much similar sizes, so they might just have the things that we can bring back and put on them. But we'll bring that up before we have people running back and forth between the manor.
I think horse leathers might be a little bit heavy, and carrying what, 4 of them?
Yep.
And it might be a little tough for our abilities here. Having the horse carrying back 4 sounds like
So let's just bring 2 of the horses and the wagon, because then we can put the others on the wagon, or all of them on the wagon. We won't have to worry about carrying them.
I think I like that idea.
Or carrying me.
Also true. So, easy to do. You all stop over at the small stable of which your horses and wagon have been stationed. You note that the wood has been recently re-waxed, cleaned, and even the top has been restitched. Many of the bird beak holes that were laid into it from your encounters across the road have been all repaired, many with patches and not a full tarp being relaid over it. But it's enough to actually show that there has been consideration given to effectively maintaining the equipment left in the stable. You look and you can see that all of your horses have been brushed, taken care of, and otherwise well fed and treated. And it is a simple matter to speak with the stable guard for the Baron and acquire your horses and their wagon, should you so deem it necessary. All right. So you're taking just 2 of the horses and the wagon in, or do you want to take all 4 horses?
I think just the 2 horses and the wagon.
Okay. Easy to do. So you're taking, we got ketchup and mustard? Or
mustard mayonnaise.
Mustard mayonnaise. There we go. M&M. Should have known better.
You gotta bring Colts, boys and
Colt-
girls.
Colts
girls.
prized. Ah,
Colts girls.
Colts girls.
I don't know. What are they? Colt?
They're mayors.
They're mayors.
Yeah, Colts girls.
They're girls.
Colts girls. So you adorn the girls M&M with their various bit and tackle and hook them up to the wagon. Everyone climbs in who doesn't feel like walking, and with a bit of a small whip of the probably overhead. I don't think Colt actually whips his horses. I feel like that's kind of
No, it's just
yeah, like
a little
like rope. You're hitting him with the reins. Yeah. Hit him with the slack. You guys are off and headed towards the hamlet of Wren's Fork. Upon your journey, as I was getting there, now that we back to it, along the journey, you can hear very quietly in the distance as you cross by the mountains and the sun continues to rise up throughout much of the early morning. You begin to hear this crackling, soft, echoous sound, and you hear, "Hello, morning, 660. And you continue to hear this kind of droned out, washed out, very low reception of what you assume to be the normal MMLR 660 morning show with Montserrat. As you continue to listen out for it, every so often you can somewhat hear the booming voice of the individual cross over the mountains, the Middle Earth Mountains, but it does seem, much as to what the Baron alluded to, that the signal is rather low in this area, and the mountains themselves seem to block or cause some interference with the transmission. The broadcast seems to last every so often. From what you can tell, it's difficult to pinpoint it, but it seems to last just a few minutes as normal, playing into a long series of music, of which you get effectively every like 10th measure or so that echoes out through the area. So it does definitely resemble a bit of a record skipping as it attempts to play everything that's kind of going on from that. With that, I will say this. You all arrive very safely within the hamlet of Wren's Fork, and yeah, there's that. With arriving, you note the hamlet itself is very well taken care of, and you can note a number of the people and residents are already wasting none of the sunlight that has been provided to them this day. You note that much of them are adorned in various hunting, farming, and general wear befitting their station. You can see a number of faces that are recognizable from the tavern the previous night. Some folks, in fact, still dragging their feet exiting the tavern. You can see now in clear view the majority of this small collection of buildings that makes up Wren's Fork. And of course, as you lay eyes upon it and kind of guide your horses through the middle of town, you can see a large, cleared, marketed area with pressed and flattened earth that shows off, again, kind of the jewel of the fork itself, the market square, where a number of southern and northern visitors meet, trade, and exchange various stories of the road, as well as offer their wares for would-be travelers and purchasers. As you all arrive, what is it you would all like to do or seek out?
JJ's gonna look for the gangly red horde man with the funny eye.
Sure, okay. So you'll start your search there. Anyone else want to look for a different thing, or does everyone want to go as a group? Do you want to split up? It's up to you guys.
I want to look for the leather workers that can make the protective.
For the horses?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else?
Bucky's looking for the spell components for Find Familiar and about 100 gold in ink.
Okay. Do you want to look for that? Oh, go for it.
Do you want to look for that in the back of the cart where I have 3 loads of it just sitting there?
Oh, well, if I can borrow some, that would be great.
Yes.
Do you also have ink? Or
No,
should I
you'll
buy
need to
that
look
too?
for somewhere else for that, but
Okay.
you can summon a familiar. I bought plenty for us. I think Morgan even has some extra on her as well. It's
I do.
tiny now. Huh. If you use that with the small burner to reach summon, it'll be interesting to find out.
Chunkini is legitimately a Pokemon now, because the components to summon Chunkini are tiny, and Chunkini is massive. He's effectively a Charizard. First edition, shadowless, worth thousands of dollars. Only probably doesn't attack as often as Charizard does. All right. Orville, Colt, Morgan, anything you all want to set out individually to do or accomplish, or is there anyone you want to tag along with? Up to you.
I was just gonna head straight for the leather worker
Okay.
for the horses.
Okay, so heading off with Orville.
Heading off with JJ.
Heading off with JJ and Morgan.
Also gonna check if Vel wants us to grab her deck as well.
Well, someone said something about the deck chooses the you, right? Some nonsense. So
Actually, you know what? Let's wait to go with everyone then.
Yeah,
'cause
then.
that way we'll make sure that the right one gets to the right person.
Right, that sounds
I
fine
like
to me.
that.
It was my second stop after what actually mattered for our travels, anyways.
Absolutely, that was a little silly of me. Anyways,
Fair enough. So then the group will go together. Simple as simple does. You all make way to the far eastern edge of town. You note a part of the river itself that runs throughout the southern edges of Wren's Fork. Seeps and leads further into the Middle Earth Mountains. You see dotted along the coastline various small ports, harbors, and various ships that actually sit along the river. Small boats, not full-size masted ships, but definitely enough to gain travel and passage. You had been informed the previous night that there are a number of people that find their business in traversing and traveling through the open crags of the Middle Earth Mountains and delivering things between Wren's Fork and the residents surrounding the lake itself. Viewing this as well, you can see that there is also a number of folks that hail and support passage to and from the southern area of Orin, or Earth. And it seems as if it is rather bustling. You can see a number of small waterborne craft that are unloading various sundry goods, everything from hand-created leather garments and silks to as much as various types of tobaccos and other types of consumables that would be easier to grow in different climates. Without too much of a worry, you do note, and you can smell it first, the stench of kind of the telltale signs of a leather worker in the area. You can see various large furs laid out and stretched heavy outside of a shop that mostly has heavy set pillars along the boundary of it. No formal walls, but a sectioned off area that kind of denotes an area where a leather worker might be found. In doing so, you all approach horses at the front and ready, and you can see a number of individuals that are preoccupied with skinning, curing, and preparing large sections of leather and fashioning it into what looks to be formal armor, as well as guard and gear befitting a number of different stations, from backpacks to elbow pads, everything you might need. You all do view as well, there are a number of wire-framed horses that are clad in heavy-set and thick-looking leathers that are also adorned with what appears to be padding on the inside that seems to be a bit of a condenser and rather insulation from, you assume, both cold and heat.
Good morning.
You call out?
Mm-hmm.
All right, easy to do. Let me see here. That's where I have here. Yes, there she is. Okay, let's see if I can pull this up right. Boom. As you call it, good morning. You see a small tiefling woman, whoop, yay, kind of come up and walk towards a small beetle-like creature at her side. She approaches, and let's see if we can trim this down. Weep, woo, no, I gotta move it higher. Wah. One moment, please wait while this DM refreshes. There we go. Yee. Oh, I have to have it below the frame as always. Please excuse technical difficulties on behalf of the stream. We assure you I'm a professional sometimes. Boom. There's that. And let's have her look in your direction. Bam. There we go. Kind of works. She's kind of looking backwards. She walks forward and she goes, oh, good. Good morning. Hello. I am here. I am Yvette. Hi. Who are you?
I am Velitha Dowenway, and my traveling companions, the Seekers of Galanti. We're looking for some elemental protections for our horses and wagons. I've heard that leathers can be bought for such things.
Oh, yes, of course. There are... No, it's not a long name. I don't know. And she turns and starts speaking to the buzzing creature by her shoulder. And she goes, no, they're just normally like that. Not everyone just... Yeah. I'm sorry. Yes, horses, you said. Armor, protections. Yes, we sell that. We do sell barding of that variety. Did you need well, we mostly do leather though, and she looks up and sees Colt and Bucky and Orville. She goes, we don't typically deal in armor that might be befitting soldiers.
No, just I was told about a blubbery hide that would protect from the likes of the steam fields.
Oh goodness. Okay. Yes. Well, we have a number of padded variety, but steam fields. No, their horses aren't going to burn alive. Not this time. Not if I have anything to say about it. Sorry. Just a buzzing in my ear. Yes, no, we do that. We actually import in seal leather, and the blubber itself forms a mound. I have a number of suits for horses prepared, and we would be happy to sell it to you. We currently offer it at 200 gold pieces per suit. How many would you be needing?
Well, it would be good to have 4 of them.
Oh my.
But I can't cover all that cost myself.
You're going to be bringing 4 horses into the steam fields?
Is that not a good idea?
I mean, if you have the money, everything's a good idea, I suppose. But no, they're not going to horribly die and sink into the mud. Sorry. No, I can't see a problem with that at all. Shut up. And she again turns to her
So
bug.
you'd have some difficulty transversing it in the first place, would sink into the mud.
Well, I hate to talk myself out of a sale, but typically I don't see many people bring much into the steam fields, and it's more of a want to do so at this point. It's kind of an adventuring thing or an exploratory thing or a very foolish and scary thing. Everything that's even traversed in the steam fields tends to start to sink into the marsh itself, and with that accompanies burns and water damage and logging and other various horriblenesses that befall you. It's part of the reason why we adapted the river to reach our friends around the lake.
Yes, well, our path finds us.
Well, sorry to butt in, Bill. But
No, it's quite all right. I'm in thought now. Go at it.
Miss Vivette and Miss Vivette's friend, would y'all suggest a different way if someone would have to go through the steam fields?
Oh, well, if you had to cross the steam fields, oh, that is a good idea, actually. Well, could you fly? It's a little bit denser, and the air, it's very thick, but if you can get, what would you say, 100, 200 feet up, it shouldn't be that much of an issue, I think. I mean, you don't really seem to be the winged type, though, so maybe you're magically inclined? Personally, I wouldn't traverse it given the opportunity. It tends to bring people back with, well, people say the steam fields tend to take things from people, and I don't mean in like a robbery sense, more like it breaks people down into raw materials and then takes those raw materials away. It's rather interesting. Yes, no, of course. Like Mary when she came back preserved. Yeah, that was great. I mean, but you'll probably be way better than that.
Right. How do y'all get to the other side of the mountains then? Do y'all ever go over there to Kynes Plummet or anything like that?
To Kynes Plummet, I can't imagine anyone would ever want to travel there, but if you were to reach through that, my best suggestion would be to take the river that leads to Lake Juniper, and you could probably find a boatman or boatswan to a bosun, sorry, to navigate you northward through that. You'd have to, of course, pass through Shirex, but it's a lovely, lovely, lovely town with a great, rich history and culture. I think they have ways through the Middle Earth Mountains that would lead you to the other side nearest Kane's Plummet, but it's really, between you and me, not exactly a tourist destination. I know people like to go down in there with a Sherpa and view and visit the underworlds and such, but it's a rather dirty place, and especially if you fall, there's no getting out of that. It goes rather deep.
Yeah, we've got some business over that way, and we were told or recommended to go through the steam fields. But if we don't have to,
Oh, I should hope
know,
no one has
maybe.
to.
maybe we could take the Shirex through the mountains and back over that. That might even save us a little time, you know. If
Well-
we're going by river can be quite quick sometimes.
Very true, I suppose. I mean, but we do, of course, make the seal armor for horses. Should you want to brave the old eastern pass through the steam fields? Again, I'd happily fit your horses for them today for a sale, I guess.
Give us a moment to have a discussion amongst ourselves and how we want to go forward. But time is worth money, so for the information alone, and I'll hand her 10 gold.
You hand her 10 gold. She takes it and she goes, "Oh, you would. I didn't sell you anything though."
Information. Thank you.
Whoa, okay. We make 10 gold. I can get drunk tonight. I mean, thank you so much. Buzz off. And she starts walking away, and you just hear this kind of like humming of the wings of the creature that fluts over her shoulder. Every so often you see it swoop in towards her hair and like pick at one of her horns, and she kind of flooshes it away. But she stands a good like 20, 30 feet away from you guys, making crossing over to the other side of the leatherworking area.
All right. How do we want to do this? I definitely stand to not spend too much money if we don't have to buy 800 gold in seal blubber.
That is quite a lot of. Yeah, that's a lot.
I only have enough on me for one of them.
I could
Really
also
don't
buy
want
one.
to spend that.
I don't. I have like very little tiny bits of money. Maybe I should have grabbed some of that money out of crates or something. But it's whatever.
I didn't
I
have it
mean,
on
we
him
could always
anyways.
negotiate a
That's
little bit. We haven't really negotiated in any way.
Cool.
But even so, probably.
I
drop it
think
down.
that beetle drives a hard bargain, to be honest. I think.
Do we
I
have
mean-
to go through the steam fields?
No, that's
No,
the whole
no.
point of the information we just got
Right.
and heading the river up through the mountains and going through Syrinx.
Don't we
We
have to
just
like?
have to hire a ship to take us through.
Well, the idea that we got Orville from talking to the Baron last night was that they're pretty sure that was all just something to get us down here, something to get us through town, and then make it not seem like anything weird's going on.
The matter was resolved. We're here to be backup for when and if, mostly when, things go south at King's Plummet.
To be honest, I am a little worried now that we cannot hear what MMLR is saying because we have no clue what is going
am
on currently.
Actually heartbroken. I was keeping a small ledger of all the different performers. There were some fascinating ones. And I didn't get to hear today's.
That sure is a shame.
I know.
I quite like Grasso, Val. He was something special.
Really was.
It it is kind of a nice thing having something every morning when you're on the road.
It was just kind of loud. I don't know. But it was nice, I suppose. Except for all the killing and stuff. And then that one time that there was like cats and dogs raining out of the sky. That was kind of weird.
Cats and Dogs was what. That was the day that they played
That was great.
bongos. That wasn't even the performance. That was one of the best performances. Either way, what do we want to take this very expensive path and make our efforts seem as they are to go through the steam fields, or do we want to try and head through the mountains?
You know, I think all that talk of, maybe even us and everything else getting all dissolved doesn't sound nice to begin with. Because I think on top of the horse leather, we'd also need stuff to make sure that the cart doesn't get disintegrated, to make sure we don't get disintegrated.
Yes, we would need a suit for the driver. We would need protections on the wagons and a suit for 2 of the riders of the other horses.
Yeah. So, I think I'm for taking the river, or even so, I think if I remembered last time I looked at a map, there's a road. We could go up through the middle of the mountains and then cut across, like they said.
Or try and skirt across the top of the steam fields and take the road down and then up through to Syrinx?
Yeah, because it kind of. Orville, where's your map?
Orville will pull out a map and a compass and do some plotting for the group.
Sure. Easy to do. Any questions on the map?
With our experience of one time or a couple times taking a boat, how long would you say it would take to take the river versus taking the road?
Orville, go ahead and roll. Go ahead and roll and add your proficiency plus your wisdom. If you're trained in insight, you can just use insight, but you are trained as a map maker, so.
It's a 23.
Okay. Yeah, 5th level characters, forget. Sorry, don't mind me. Just the DM with low DCs.
I rolled an 18.
Yeah, you take a look at it. You know that the trading boat used by your previous associates is one of kind of like means for the most part. You know that it had an air elemental ring on it that allowed it to be propelled even when it wasn't kind of set for it. You look across the boats that are along the riverside. Many of them have heavy paddles and oars that lay aloft inside of them. Most have a crew of only 2 or 3 individuals and maybe a small mast at best. But your assumption, it would take the better part, most likely, of a day to get in and through the Middle Hearth Mountains, depending on what is set up for that. You do know that with most of these kind of situations, you'd likely be dealing with a canal, as is tradition for what you'd note on other maps and from rumors around town. Such things can only be filled and released every so often, and especially if some idiot tries to stuff it full of, I don't know, a bunch of packages, and a boat were to get stuck for a week or more, it could cause delays in your journey. Just random things to take in consideration that obviously have no impact on real life. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, inside of a day, provided the canal's open.
Well, aside from all the strangely salty things you added in saying that, here's my idea.
Orville had a salty breakfast.
You gotta salt your coffee, man.
We could take the road, and we could get some advice on it from the likes of Leothel to make sure that it would be safe to travel just to the north of the steam fields and then head up to Syrinx. And we could leave our horses and wagon in Syrinx, so we wouldn't have to leave them in the fields near Cain's Plummet. We could travel to the mountains ourselves by foot and then make our way there.
I like that idea.
Is there any way that we can
That's
bring
okay.
mayonnaise and mustard on this?
What did I just say?
But like, not leave them.
You want to bring... Okay, I'm offering you the best solution to you not ending up asking me to bring your horses back as skeletons. I don't have a problem doing that, but I still haven't quite figured it out yet.
Alright, fine. I just want my horses near me.
When you're at Cain's Plummet facing we don't know exactly what?
We're forming a bond here. I don't want to break that bond. I don't want some jagoff, forming some kind of bond with my horses. That's all I'm trying to
You
say.
can bring your horses with you then.
Okay.
But they
and
might
then I
die.
will bring them back from the dead. When you ask me to do that.
No, if they die, they're dead. That's how it is. Let's move on.
If Sesame dies, I'll let you take Sesame. It's fine.
Same with hot dog.
I don't really want sesame or hot dog. I like mayonnaise and mustard.
You don't speak ill of hot dog.
They're fine horses, just not mayonnaise and mustard. I mean, look at them.
Wow.
Right there, look at them. So cute.
One of them shits.
Good
As-
girl.
As horses often do.
Good girl. Oh, that's fine. We can leave them in Cyrex or Cyrex or whatever.
Well,
if we
here's the
take them out into the field towards Kane's Plummet, it's going to be likely as dangerous as trudging them across the steam field to be boiled into nothing. So
I ain't trying to make things difficult. I just want to be near my
Not
horses. It's
trying to
fine.
make things difficult. I'm trying to make things actually functional so we can ride ourselves back up to where we finish this instead of walking all the way back to Silverhair.
Here's my question though: how do we get him back after Shirix?
Hmm?
How do we get them back after? Are we going to go back after we go to Kynes?
Yeah, I would assume we'd go from Kynes back to Cyrix.
Okay.
And then, right? But looking at Orville's map, it doesn't seem that unreasonable, depending upon how the path through the mountain is.
Orville notes on
You're
his
right.
map, by the way, there is a northern road that leaves out of the Middle-earth Mountains through Cyrix.
Mm-hmm.
Can only assume that that's where main caravans go through. So we'll head along the top of the steam fields and check that off, that we made sure everything was good in the steam fields. And head up to Cyrix then. And we don't have to abandon our horses, because if we take this water path here, I wouldn't be surprised if too many of these ships couldn't accommodate 4
Yeah,
horses and a cart.
that would make sense.
Right then.
Well, does anything need anything from Miss Vivette while we're here, or are we all good?
I think I could go for a nice pair of shoes, but
By all means.
Are those slippers not serving you well?
oh, they're serving me plenty fine. But I think they might come flying off. Should I go running too fast?
They don't have backs to them. They're slip-ons. It's not a good look. At this point, they're also...
I might be a monk, but I'm not trained in Chancla Fu, so
Ooh.
they will be going off.
Chancla Fu.
I mean, I would take the offense on behalf of Spanish people, but we know that's a real martial art, so I can't discredit it as a legal UFC-ready martial art. And the only thing holding it back is that it's the use of a weapon, and a deadly weapon at that, so I'll let you have that one.
It's the only martial art when you get older and you start growing that little abuela afro that
Mhm.
you become stronger at it.
Oh yes. You can see a well-trained individual by the stress on their shoulders and the crow's talons, the ends of their eyes. Just
And they
let you know.
gain different color muumuus to
Yeah.
wear at night.
Yeah. It's
Instead
actually
of belts.
it's almost Monster Hunter-esque, because the muumuus add an elemental affinity depending on the different
Like
colors.
the more flowers on them, the closer they are to black belt status.
We joke, and then I make this an NPC class. We get really sad. The new warlock Pact of the Blade weapon.
It would probably be an Eldritch Knight, just because they could call back the chancla.
Oh yeah, they can throw it at you and then whip it back. There we go. We're getting a little bit too much in DM's Guild here. This is a D&D stream, not a creative session. The best ideas are born from comedy, though. So yes, coming to this conclusion, that is where you all would be at. It's up to you all. If everything is kosher, you very much could move from here and seek various effectively setup or decision for what to do next. If you want to reach out to any of the bosun that would be able to escort you, and you'd be able to hire out to lead you to Lake Juniper, or if you would prefer instead, you can still try to make the most of a situation heading through the steam fields, or further still, do whatever the heck you like. You could say F it, flip Galanti the bird, and just just go straight west. Just Feifel goes west. You just see what's out there. Who knows? Open Oregon Trail. One of you gets dysentery. We'll roll for it. But that's the choice is yours and yours alone.
Duelist City. We're just
Several
going
people
Duelist
will
City
get
path.
dysentery in the festering marshes.
Isn't it the bard's job to dysentery?
Oh,
Hey.
rude. Hey, but so yeah.
Okay.
You could also go to Duelist City. That's also true.
That's later. We have to finish a job and have some vacation time and go do. Do we want to hire a guide for along the north of the steam fields, or do we think we can handle it?
It'd probably be really beneficial to have a guide.
Can you handle it, Bellathil?
Sass.
Oh, dang.
I
Yeah,
think
no.
I'm the most suited
Whoa.
to handle the steam fields, as I think I'm the only one here who knows the absorb elements spell.
I'm talking about
Bucky.
the guide.
Oh, sorry. Right. Yes,
Oh,
I
yeah.
doubt he's too well endowed for
Can
me
you?
not handle it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that should be fine.
I mean, we can set up a little tent in the back of the cart and
I need a
everything.
tent. Where else? We do it in the forest.
Yeah, it'll already be
That's
hot,
that's elf humor.
steamy.
I'm gonna go see a
Okay.
lady about some shoes.
Just see Lady about some shoes. The tea is spicy this afternoon. There's a lot of whew. All right. Getting the vapors over here, y'all. Good lord.
Besides, I thought Colt wanted him.
Ooh.
It's not an orc.
It's true. Poor Colt and his lack of orcs. All right. So, Orville jumps off the cart and kick flips out of this conversation and heads over. You find Yvette off to the side, counting her 10 gold coins, and you hear her muttering back and forth with this buzzing beetle-like creature. And she goes, "No, I'm not getting mead for you. Last time you got mead, you went around and stung and bit everyone. It's not becoming. People are starting to take notice and talk about." And she turns and looks as you hear this, like, she turns and looks down and goes, "Oh, hi, I didn't see you there. Hi, how can I?" And she kind of just waves her hand up above her head to kind of knock around her flying companion. She goes, how can we help you?" You're,
I was just looking for some traveling shoes. These slippers are mighty comfy, but they're not meant for the road.
"Oh, of course, I've never known a goblin to wear shoes before. Do you want shoes, boots, or straps, or I'm not small bags? Maybe I'm not quite sure. I've ever.
I'll take a look at what you got.
Oh, of course.
Just roll for it.
No, she'll show you what she has. You note that it's all in fashion for dwarves and halflings. For the most part, she doesn't really have anything there. So a number of them have like stitched floral and like flowered designs alongside of them. Many of them seem to be made for like as we're in winter now, there are a number of winter boots, but being that they are so far south and especially near the steam fields, you note that it really does not get that cold here. It kind of is that Florida type of seasonal pattern where it's just always that humid, hot water in the air kind of feeling. You in the swamp. So you note that even though there are a number of boots that have fur and other types of trappings upon them, the general make and model of most of the footwear here are like open-toed sandals, various small, like ankle-high shoes, and other types of trappings of that nature, all well-oiled and polished, and many of them having a waxy cover to them to prevent against the moisture in the area from kind of causing them to get worn out quicker. She looks you over and she goes, might I suggest, well, do you have maybe a flower or like a birthstone or something? Maybe a color that is your favorite? I have these, and she holds up a pair of very small, almost child's shoes, and on the very front of them, on like the very like tip of the shoe, is the visage of a bright stinging bee, and you can see its wings stretched out on either side to make up the two kind of halves of the shoe where it laces through. And she goes, I have these. I made them myself, and I had a lot of fun doing it, but they are a little bit expensive.
What do you mean by a little bit expensive? Because by golly, they are gorgeous.
Well, I would hope to ask. I would hope to ask. Four gold pieces for the pair.
Yeah, I would happily pay that for such a beautiful pair. Do they fit? Will they fit? Can I eyeball that?
You eyeball it and look it over. You look to her and even like kind of like, hey, I wonder if they fit. She gets out like a small a bit of it's like a metal brace that stretches and moves and augments leather a little bit. Just another leather working tool. You probably have seen them if you've ever been to a place where you get shoes made. They do this often. She assures you that for 4 gold, and then she sheepishly says, and for 2 silver, I can have them fit to make sure that they'll completely cover without any issues. I can have them resized or refit.
Yeah, that sounds quite agreeable. And Orville will hand her 5 gold.
You hand her 5 gold?
Yeah.
She like looks at her and goes, oh, holla. Thank you so much.
Oh, of course. Thank you.
She goes to put the 5 gold in her pouch, and you note this small kind of buzzing beetle flies down by her pouch and like dives into it, and you start hearing the coins rattle around. She goes, Don't lose any of them. I'm so sorry. Yes, shoes. Yes, and she takes them and starts kind of unlacing them and fitting them and kind of getting a measurement of your feet. She looks over like the slippers you're wearing right now, and she goes, these are rather strange to be walking around in.
Well, they're comfortable.
Oh, okay. Sure. She easily enough gets a number of measurements for you, and while they are sized for a human child, there is surprisingly enough room in the front of the shoe that normally would pose an issue, but because you are a goblin and you have taloned like fingers and taloned toes that are often just a feature of your race, there is ample room in the very front of the shoe to kind of meet the needs for goblin footwear without poking holes through the front of the leather. But inside of just about 10-15 minutes, she's managed to stretch, pull, and tuck various aspects of the shoes themselves. And before long, you have these bright bee adorned shoes that look as if there is a swooping, stinging bee on the very front of them.
I love them. I absolutely love it. Thank you so much, Miss. I'll rejoin the group.
Okay. You turn, you feel them, the boots themselves feeling much nicer, protecting your feet. It's a little bit weird to not be walking barefoot to the ground after all this time, but there definitely is a nice kind of feeling to having covering and that secured feeling. You do note that every so often there is a small, almost squeak in your step. And as you walk, you can hear this soft kind of like as the pieces of leather rub together, making this very soft buzzing noise.
Have to look into that later.
You return, and the group, you've had 10 minutes to kind of go through and decide your next course of action for the day.
Those look quite lovely, Orville.
I thank you, JJ. I'm quite comfortable. Haven't known much like it.
Should we head to, what was that magic item place? The
Fork Fortunes.
Yes, Fork Fortunes next.
Yeah.
All right. Heading off
By
to
the
Fork
way,
Fortunes. Oh,
sorry.
go for it.
By the way, Orville, I heard those buzzing a little bit. I wonder if they buzz when you kick someone in the face. That'd be awesome.
That would be awesome.
You can name your kick like Bee Sting or something like that.
Ooh, I could.
I don't know. Anyway.
We'll have to see about that.
Immediate fear as we start naming special moves in this campaign.
I'm doing it.
Oh, Lord, have mercy on your soul. All right. So, you guys are heading over to Fork's Fortunes? Mm-hmm. Okay. So, you make your way through much of the small hamlet. Many people begin to trade. You can hear the exchanging and clinging of coins clicking together. Various barkers yelling and shouting from the market square, saying to buy their various sundry goods and materials. Their stuff's better than the next guy over. Most people seem to be selling a lot of the same types of trade goods and other types of small effigies and fortunes. Before long, you do arrive in front of a fairly common looking trade house. Numbers of crates and barrels and various items are kind of laid out along the sides. Various storage materials, I should say, not so much items, just like willy-nilly laying around. But you look it over and it does seem to be pretty open and welcoming for the most part. There is ample space for carts and wagons to pull into either side. And as you look, the very front of the shop is actually a very heavy set wooden looking table that runs the length of the building. And you see 3 different horned individuals kind of welcoming guests and kind of going back and forth on what might be best. You note that there is an owner who predominantly tries to buy, sell, and trade for sundry goods to be available and general goods for those within Wren's Fork. But there's been the alluding to that they also collect a number of more obscure materials that catch their fancy. And as you see, there are 3 various employees looking over the area. It seems to be much of the same. They seem to be trading items for gold or gold for items, and it very much seems like a formal trade house. Before too long, you walk forward and you can see this large kind of my God, my words are escaping me. This large wooden bar that runs the length of the building, and you can see that they have a kind of a shutter that's been hooked up into the awning and ceiling area that overhangs much of the area of the building itself. They stand there, arms and out. It takes about 15 or so minutes of waiting before business dies down enough and you can advance in line as the group of you arrives. You again see a rather well-dressed tiefling individual. Let's see here if I can pull him up. Boom, there's that. And let's see how the crop plays with him. Boop-a-doo. No, that's terrible. Okay, we gotta fix that. Please hold while we resize. I don't know why. There we go. Wee. Yahoo. And slide into place. Whip. There we go. So you see a tiefling individual kind of look over with piercing purple eyes and bright, almost gold-encrusted horns. Red and kind of motes of smoke seem to adorn his skin as he looks you all over. And you hear, "Welcome to Fork's Fortunes, my dear traveling friends. I am your esteemed associate, Drasco Vivente. Might I assist you this day?" Please,
I'd like
not
to
all
get
at once. Did you say paint?
Some ink.
Ink. For
Yes.
writing or for mixing or for...
For transcribing a spell.
Oh, spellcrafting ink. Of course I can have that provided to you. Do you require parchment as well?
No.
Just ink then. Very good. I can have that sold out to you. How much would you need of it?
About 100 gold worth.
100 gold worth? I should be able to fulfill that order. Do you have your currency or form of trade?
I have gold.
You have gold. Very good. Well, then I'll be taking that gold, my sir.
Bucky counts it out and hands it over.
All right. You put it into stacks of 10 and slide it over. You see Drasco kind of look over, recount, make sure every coin's properly seated. You hear a clicking from underneath the counter and then a small kind of like almost a chime of a bell before kind of a rolling out sack. You hear coins clicking together in a tray. He takes it and sets the various amounts all throughout this kind of like almost registry tray and slides it and clicks it into place. He goes, just one moment. I'll go and fetch that for you. And he heads into the back. You see a tiefling from the back walk forward, and you see a kind of a woman kind of just stare out and just watch the area to make sure you're not like reaching behind the counter or do anything suspicious. Before too long, just a few minutes, you see your representative, your customer service rep, return back and have a small fitted box inside. As he opens up the small latch of this wooden box, you see a collection of small vials, each totaling 10 gold in value, just like a small droplet bottles of ink. And he presents each one to you to inspect to ensure that they're all properly filled and that you're getting the correct amounts.
This will do just fine. Thank you.
Of course, and we thank you again for your patronage of Folks' Fortunes. For you all, might there be anything to your fancy that we might fulfill for you?
Yes, I was told you may have a selection of Arcane Scrolls.
We do. It is a bit of a, well, more expensive ask, as they do not come through all that often. What is it that you'd be seeking in that avenue?
A Scroll of Silence, perhaps?
Scroll of Silence. Let's see here. He reaches down below the desk, because I'm going to have to use my notes.
Maybe I'm wrong in my brain right now.
I was like, I'm not sure silence is a ritual, but I'll look into it.
It is, but it's
Oh,
not
it
a
is.
wizard.
It's not a wizard one.
No. For some reason, I had a note written wrong.
As you're kind of like looking through, he goes, I do have a list of the current scrolls we have on hand, if that is something that you're interested in instead. If it's primarily rituals, I have them selected as well, if that's something you wanted to review.
That would be very helpful.
Of course. He reaches down and again kind of pulls out a stack of papers, looks through them, produces one that's been well written and slides it across the table and rolls it out before placing 2 stones on either end so that the paper lays flat. You see that they have the following rituals for sale. Let's see here. I need to reorganize this. Un momento, so I get my list in order. The current ones on offer are Detect Magic, Detect Poison, Purify Food and Drink, Beast Sense, Skywrite, Feign Death, Water Walk. These are the selections we have on offer for rituals at this time.
Yes, I don't quite have what I'm looking for at this time, but thank you very much.
Of course. He moves the 2 small stones, puts them back behind the counter, rolls the parchment up, places it back down. Might there be anything else you're looking for here at the Fork?
Not anything for myself.
Neither for me. Thank you.
Very good. Very good. He perks up.
I don't think you can.
Yeah,
hear
he
me.
looks around, and you guys will hear this and you see
I just
him lean over the counter and go, "Oh my, I didn't see you there." Hello.
Hello.
I will have you know, you may not seal my name, and you are not allowed to make any magical enchantments on this building. It is quite guarded and vested against all Fae. We've made proper accommodations for the local residences in this area. I felt it must be stated.
will make sure that doesn't happen.
Very good.
I'm not sure how to go about it, but would you know how somebody could be restored to their normal size or
Restored to their normal
remove the
size?
curse of smallness?
A curse of small... Oh my goodness, you're not a fae. You've been horribly cursed by them. That's adorable. Sorry, what an adorable curse. Apologies. And he slowly regains his kind of I'm dead inside customer service face that he's been wearing the entire time. He goes, whew. Yes, very much so. He thinks it over and he goes, well, if you have a curse that's been imparted to you from a fae, I do have an item that might be... Let me check my stocks real quick. We previously purchased them from a number of nymphs that had a habit of... Well, we like to say they create their own business, and they offer solutions for a nominal fee. Let me check. And he goes into the back, and again, you see the same woman kind of peel from the back and look in your direction and just keep eyes on you. He soon returns, and in his hand, he has what can only be described as like a twig doll. It's a bundle of twigs that have been tied tight with small pieces of vine and what appears to be like grass knot. And it is kind of wearing an outfit that would appear to be made out of various types of polished stone and carved out leaves that have been knitted together to form, again, like a almost like what you'd assume to be a nature doll. And he sets it on the counter and he goes, this would be most likely what it is you're looking for. I must ask that you do not touch it at this time, however. I don't want to risk its use before purchase. This here is a... Well, they like to say it's a doll that is rather well attuned to fey mischief. By using it, you might be able to impart your curse onto it, and thus free yourselves from the shackles. I will say, however, that such things are not a permanent solution. If the doll is ever destroyed or lost from your personal property, the doll, of course, will restore the curse onto you. But it would allow at least a partial solution to your problem.
Okay. Would there be any side effects other than it being temporary?
Other than it being temporary, I'm not quite sure. I've had a number of people say that it has made them less active in their lives, but that could have been just due to the curses themselves. You personally, having been, I'm assuming, shrunk, shouldn't have any ill effects. I don't think it's going to make you impudent either, based on your gender.
Okay. And how much is it?
This here, being that they are rather difficult to get a hold of, and we only get them in stock once every 6 months or so, would net you a small investment of 500 gold pieces.
I'd be
Out of
willing
care.
to throw some gold down to help you out if you'd like. I mean, I'm
I
not
have
going to
the
be using it
gold.
for. Oh, okay.
I
You're
just
talking to the
thank you.
one person who doesn't spend money in this party.
Yeah, fair enough.
The only
I
time
have,
she spent money was on the entire party.
Yeah.
I have 760 gold, so out of character, is this something that would be normally that price and worth it?
Ooh, roll insight.
'Cause I don't know. I'm out of my depth here.
That is exactly what insight's for. Is this person trying to rip me off? Let's find out today.
It's a 3.
A 3.
Wait, no.
Oh.
Can I re-roll that?
Do you have lucky or something, or?
Uh-huh.
Oh, then yes, you can re-roll that. You sack of using the best feat in the game. Sure, you can do whatever you want. Like, here, you want my notes too? Like,
Ooh, that's a good feat.
I was like,
DM notes.
wait.
yeah, it's be a rogue, have lucky, steal the DM's notes at 11th level because you just go, I pass. I don't worry about telling me the DC. I pass. So what's the re-roll? Go ahead.
16.
16. Okay. Sorry, gotta remember to hydrate.
You're good.
It's the Twitch motto. Gotta hydrate and posture check and fix my things. I got that lumbar support coming on Wednesday. I'm excited. All right, so you kind of feel it out and you think it over. It's not something you have a lot of experience with, especially dealing with the Fae in general. Is something rather new to both you and your party. But your elven heritage does provide a bit of insight. You know that these things are, again, kind of valued in the eye of the beholder. It's less about the fact that it is an expensive or costly thing, and it's more finding a Fae who is willing to create a doll that interferes with the curses and hexes of other Fae. It's kind of like a good assumption would be like Vasler not wanting to deal with certain other curses or hexes as a professional courtesy. It's more so in the Fae community, as it's like, oh, one of my magics fell off. I wonder who did that. And then there's, some pixie who's like, sucker. But you think it over, and 500 is not out of the realm of possibility for such an item, depending on where you're buying it from. Being that this is a bit of not to make the pun for a city on the river, but a backwater hamlet of a place. Finding something like this is rather fortunate in your behalf. You do feel that there might be a little bit of room for give and take, but you've never had to formally purchase this, but you do have a gut feeling that maybe this is there's a premium attached to this item at this point.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Would you take 400?
I'm not sure that I would be taking 400. It seems to be a buyer's market for such an item. But I tell you what, how about I'll do the 500, but I'll include a small bag that you can carry it in.
That's just a normal bag.
He goes, no, of course, it's a very special, adorned bag. I have it right here. And he has in his other hand the bag that he pulled this doll out of. He goes, look, you can keep the bag and everything. It's got a drawstring made out of leaves and little grass knots. Look how intricately it is. This is a great bag. Trust me. And again, he's not attempting to sell you on it. You can tell this seems very rehearsed. And he, again, has that dead inside customer service feel to it. Like, oh yes, this is our #1 seller. Let me tell you.
Okay.
All right. So you count out with the help of one of the other party members, you count out 500 very small gold pieces, to which the tiefling looks at and kind of goes, just a moment. I'm going to call over Maud. And you see this woman kind of that's been staring you guys, just watching the front, approach and slowly kind of move to the front. And he turns and whispers in her ear, and she looks over past him at your group, and she kind of has like this arch smile a bit, and then she gives a soft nod, and he goes, oh, wonderful. I can accept your Fae currency of these tiny, tiny gold coins. And he starts like picking out these very small gold pieces, like setting them into tiny stacks and like trying to get them all organized. And then much like a carnival barker at the fair, he takes this well-weaved doll and leans over the counter and reaches down towards you and goes, "Here you are," as if you've won the biggest teddy bear at the prize.
Thank you.
Of course.
Is it in the bag?
Yeah, he hands it to you in the bag.
Okay.
So that way no one bumps into it and it's not wasted.
Mm-hmm.
But you hold it up and you have this big doll in a bag.
Do I just need to touch it to use it?
He instructs you that you need to attune with it. And with that, through attuning to it, it takes one of your attunement slots, but it will remove one curse or curse-like effect on you while it is attuned.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Is that just a random item, or is there an item that I should look up?
I don't think it exists in 5th edition. It did exist in 2nd edition. So, yeah. It's called a Curse Right Doll. But I don't, and that's RITE. But I'm not sure that it exists in 5th. Yeah. Fun
if
stuff.
It's not there, you can just create
It does now.
a custom item.
It does now. Orville made it, so you can probably find it somewhere. But yeah, it is a wondrous item. It is magical. It does require attunement, and while attuned, you can have one curse or curse-like effect affecting you affect the doll in your place.
Cool.
Super good if you get a death curse. All right. He hands this over to you and looks over across the group. He goes, might there be anything else that we can do here for you?
No, I don't need anything.
Very well, then. I will wish you well on your journeys ahead, and we, of course, thank you for visiting and favoring the Fork's Fortunes. Please come and see us again. Oh, and before I forget, and he reaches down and produces a small piece of like perforated cardstock and sets it down on the desk. He goes, "If you might, this is a small comment card. It helps me with my job. If you could simply rate your overall shopping experience here, I would appreciate it." And there's a small card and it says like, "How joyful was your attendant? How welcoming did they make you feel? How secure did they make you feel in your purchases?" And they kind of just like denote it's an Amazon review card for this place. And he kind of just sets it down in front of you and sets a small piece of like charcoal pen next to it.
JJ will just fill it out with good remarks.
Or just like 5 stars all across it.
Yeah.
You fill it all out and he goes, "Thank you so much. I do appreciate that." He looks it over and he goes, "Thank you. Yes, I resemble all these remarks. Thank you." And he moves to like the middle of the desk, and you see him slot it into the middle of the desk and kind of like dust his hands off and walk back to you. And he goes, "Well then, if that is all, I do again thank you so much for frequenting our shop. And should you have anything else while you're in Wren's Fork, please feel free to come by and I will be happy to assist you again."
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you.
All right. Now we got to go find our card sets, right? I'm excited. I want to play this card game.
Yep.
Yep.
JJ kind of walks out fast out front and starts looking
Starts
looking around
Just starts
for the weird guy.
eyeballing, looking for a weird guy. All right. On that, let's take a break here, actually, before we head off. Seems like a good place for a break. It is 8:44 p.m. right this very minute. Let's shoot for, 10 minutes? 10 minutes sounds good, right? I think 10 minutes is a pretty solid break-a-rooney. Ooh, Jesus, don't want to start that up yet. So yeah, we'll be back in 10 minutes. We'll look forward to seeing you guys after the break to find this weird individual in town. Who knows? We'll see you all in a bit. See you soon. See you at 8:55. Peace.
contributing points.
Aw, is Cat make contributing points?
2,000.
In number 1 loves her to death. Hey y'all, hey, how you doing? We're back. I love that we start with like, love this lady. That's how we come back. This lady's dope. So yeah, hey, welcome back, guys. Welcome back to Second Wake. Hi, how you doing? Hey, oh, I should probably. Hey, we're back from break. Hey, what's up, YouTube? That was a 1 second cut for you, maybe. I've been trying to cut out the music because no one really cares. So yeah, when we last left, the group has been exploring Ren's Fork, uncovering some information, deciding on a number of things and possibilities for advancing forward to meet their end goal of exploring or investigating, maybe, if they choose to investigate a rumored, still existing counterfeiting ring, but the Baron more or less squashed that. But deciding on how to get to Kyne's Plummet to totally not check in on the prince and his assault of a black spire. Definitely not something you guys should be concerned about. But, you know, in the case that you're in the area and maybe you were there, be a good idea. So yeah, after meeting at Fork's Fortunes and deciding on a number of small goods as well as buying a solution to Morgan's cursed problem, you all find yourselves now looking through the market square. JJ running, I'm assuming it's full like kid at the mall, like arms up, full gremlin stance, lean down, and just like running around.
JJ, we're not going to find Pokemon cards at Target. They sell out too fast. We have to get
yeah, we gotta get to Walmart right off the truck. You gotta go to the dollar store and get the 4-card packs. The good stuff.
Pre-order these sets, JJ.
It's Target exclusives. So yeah, easy to do though. JJ, as you are the one leading the expedition to find this individual in town, this rumored red-skinned, horned, and weird-eyed tiefling, go ahead and roll investigation at advantage to see if you can find.
$17, please.
17. You look and you all spend the better part of about 20 minutes, almost a full half hour, looking around the market square, trying to find this individual that was noted by various other patrons of the tavern from the previous night. A red-skinned tiefling with what was described as large horns and a weird-looking eye, and it takes quite a lot of looking before you find an individual with no horns at all that seems to be attempting to sell a pair of massive red horns to a vendor, and you hear, "No, it's very good. These horns, they're good. You should buy them for gold. You'll like all of this." As you turn and you see this individual, the barker at the merchant's stall kind of goes, I don't think this is going to be good for me or my business, so take these horns and get them out somewhere else. And you're, fine. And grumbles and starts kind of moving back and turns and sees you all effectively like full poise, like staring at this individual. You see this person. A tiefling with 2 severed stumps where their horn used to be, short, scraggly, burned hair, a blackened irised eye, and a white burned eye on the other side, in a kind of like form-fitting cloak that drapes over in a small kind of dancing of green, red, and black colors that kind of shimmer in the light. And they have a bit of a hunch to them. And you see them kind of turn and look in your direction, this black eye sightlessly looking at you all, and you hear, "Can I help you?"
Excuse me, but we heard you might be someone selling some collected Conquest, the card game deck?
Selling collected Conquest. I could sell you many things. I have these horns. And you see them reach out from their cloak, and you can see this large, very clearly tiefling horn that's been cut off you assume, the top of this individual's head. It goes, tiefling horn, very good. It's a demon horn. I could sell it to you on special. 150 gold. It'll cure what ails you. Grind it up. Put it in your coffee. Very good things. As they kind of like show off this red horn and move closer to you, you do hear the kind of like jostling of various like cardboard and cardstock in their cloak. And you can see that their cloak is very heavy and weighted down.
You don't have to. I've got. JJ points up to her horns. I got some horns.
Oh yes, but medicinal effects for this, yeah. You could grind it up, make it into a medicine, or perhaps use it for other means.
Orville.
Sorry, so we didn't begin with proper introductions. We kind of rushed up to you. We've recently discovered this collecting company game, and we're hoping to find our way into purchasing some starter decks. Is that what they called them?
Yeah.
Yes, Collected Conquest, a very good game from very far away, made by a dear friend of mine. I am a vendor of some of the things to get folks started, but let me tell to you, this horn for sale, however, very good, very good indeed, would bring you much fortune and good luck in the games. Yes? Much good luck indeed.
Out of character, I'm ready for JJ to slap it out of his hand. Man, give me the cards!
Give me the fucking cards!
Give me the fucking cards!
Well, does the horn come with cards?
Oh. Yes. Yes, I will give you one pack of cards for purchasing this horn. You already have a deck, yes?
No. We're looking for starter decks.
Well, then perhaps we make an arrangement, yes? I will commit to selling you this horn, and over our dealings, perhaps we could find a place to discuss the futures you all have in the world of Collected Conquest, yes?
Yeah, that sounds quite right to me.
Quite
Hey.
right.
It's only so early. We have time through the day, right?
JJ, I'm once again always really not the best person to say this because it's just what I do, but I'm just getting one of those me sort of decision feelings about this.
You decision feelings?
You know.
Oh, right. Do you also mean the me decisions too? And JJ's just gonna scratch at her head really quick.
You know, just there was a bit of unique wording in the offer here.
I heard a certain word as well. You know what? I'd love to sit. We could maybe grab some breakfast. or
Breakfast?
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes. Breakfast would be good. Breakfast. I do think that this would be the right thing to be doing.
And then we can have some discussions about what all you got and what all we've all got going on.
Of course. Breakfast you are providing, yes?
Yeah, I'll buy you breakfast, buddy.
This is wonderful. Very good. Very good day then. Very good. Please, lead the way.
JJ will lead to the tavern place that she cannot remember the name of currently.
River's Feast. Let's
Yes,
have
River
ourselves
Peace.
a little bit to eat at River's Feast.
All right. Yeah, you all take your newfound associate and head for the River's Peace Tavern and clear across town and soon find yourselves quite within still a quite bustling place, but a number of people seem to kind of just cohabitate outside. There are a number of drunks in town that, you don't go far from the watering hole, even if you're a busy person. As you all approach, you do note a member of the staff kind of looks very curiously at your red-skinned individual, a newfound associate. And they kind of go like, "Oh, welcome! You're back so soon." He goes, "Yes, I was here last night, was I not?" You go, "Yes, many people were very happy with the gifts you imparted them." He goes, as things should be, yes, many gifts indeed, but no gifts received. Very unfortunate. You see, like, the staff member go, right, so, and looks to the group and goes, can I get you all seated somewhere, or perhaps a booth?
Yeah, could you tuck us back into a corner somewhere?
I'd be very much happy to. And they kind of escort you into the River's Peace. In doing so, you note that there's plenty of places to sit. There are a number of people, though, that just walking in, especially some of the individuals you saw crowded around the tables the other night, do steal passing glances at your kind of red-accompanied individual, who at this time you can still see this kind of lump under their cloak as they're carrying what was once, again, two very large horns, now kind of like tucked under their arm in an attempt to sell, to kind of hustle and make some gold from what you assume. You find a booth all the way near the back. There's actually, it's kind of a small kind of rounded table that's built into the side of the restaurant, the tavern itself. I wouldn't really call it a restaurant. And the woman kind of looks over and pulls with a small hook a bit of a privacy curtain. And she goes, I'd be happy to serve you all today. Just make sure that if you're looking to keep things private, the curtain is for your privacy, should you need it. I do have the feeling that that would be to your liking. And your friend kind of pipes up and goes, yes, this will do quite nicely. I think such things are more personal that way.
Certainly. If we could, maybe get a round of waters and whatever everyone else wants, but let's get this new friend of ours a good old plate of food, if we could.
Yes, food, please. You're the best food. And a Bloody Mary. Yes, very much so. And you see the tavern wench kind of like look at him and go, I'll get you an ale, hun. And he goes, but I was told there would be Bloody Marys. And she kind of just stares at him and goes, I'll see what they got in the kitchen. He goes, thank you. And then immediately like crawls into the farthest area of the booth and sits down and kind of wiggles a little bit and like leans over the table with a bit of a hunch and smiles. And you can see that as they're smiling, their front teeth are all together through pursed lips. You can still see these kind of pointed, bright white teeth. But further on still, they're missing several teeth in other locations, and others that are still remaining are covered in like various bits of metal and gold that plate each tooth on the far corners of their mouth.
So it was kind of probably rude on my part. I was the first one that ran up to you, but I don't think we ever really exchanged any sort of names or anything we'd like to be called.
Oh, a name. I have been called many. Supplier, dealer, friend. But name. Yes, a name. I still have a name. I'm called Hassan Ereos. And you? Do you still have a name?
Thankfully, I've got somewhat of a name. I go by JJ, Goodfella.
JJ Goodfella. Good to meet you. A joyous and cheerful name.
Certainly. I am a little curious, and I'm sorry if it's an intrusive question. But why are you selling your horns?
Well,
my friend.
When traveling, as such I do, in far lands such as these, gold and other types of curios are required for survival. And without much else to sell, I have to rely on such things. They'll grow back.
Do you not make good sales with the cards? People seem very invested in the game.
Oh, there is a quite heavy investment in many of the players of Collected Conquest. This I would say, of course, but there is a peculiar nature in which it enacts a toll on those who purchase it. Gold, or rather wealth, can be wagered for a deck, for a pact, for advancement in the game, but primarily it is not done so, as the cost to doing so requires a sum of 1,000 gold pieces. Only the most fortuned, favored of those may do such a thing. But I assure you there are other methods that you might find easier to get you started. JJ Goodfellow.
I'm sure you could probably tell I am no stranger to some interesting deals.
Of course.
And whatnot. So, whatever you've got to offer, I'm always open to listening.
Very good. But please, I require food, sustenance. I am shaky and weary from the roads.
Yes, sir.
Well, then the food will soon be on its way. If we wait and you don't want to do business, perhaps you could tell us more of yourself and your travels?
Oh, stories and information. Yes, I could, in exchange for you doing the same.
A question for a question, maybe.
A question for a question.
Sure, we do have quite the storyteller.
Very good. I, as I have said, am still known as Hassan Ereos. I am a follower of Collected Conquest, a distributor of its various cards, pacts, and accoutrement, and I have dedicated in service of my mortal life to the game. I love it so very dearly that I have given up much in pursuit of being considered the champion of it. I come from a far, 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 far town known as Bone Wharf, a delightful and happy place where a number of happy people live. Normal and happy people. And you can see that as this individual speaks, and you've probably picked up on it a few times, they continue to fluctuate between three various forms of speaking of common, those of you trained in insight, between rolling R's and other types of things. I'm probably not the best actor for this type of thing, but they seem to have certain things that they speak in different accent and inflection, somewhat purposely, but there is a disjointness in how they speak.
Could I make any sort of like insight or history check as to like where these accents are coming from and the place of this man's origin?
Go ahead and roll. Yeah, roll insight. Insight's probably your best bet. If you're trained in insight, you can attempt it.
That's a grand total of 9.
9? Yeah, he's a weird guy. Maybe he has sun poisoning. I don't know. Seems weird. It's very red. Hassan looks to you all and goes, so question for question. Tell me, if you are able, where do you call home?
I think we all kind of call different places home. If you're talking about where each of us are from.
Other places.
But as a group, we're from just north of Ravon, really.
North of Ravon? That is a very far place. You're not dwarves. No, you are not dwarves at all. So please, if you might find a curious way to elaborate further on the point.
I'm personally from around Deerwood.
Deerwood. A wonderful city, yes. I have heard many things, weavers and chosen and those of high social standing. Surely many people play collected Conquest there, yes?
Actually, not really. No one's really heard of it up there, I don't think.
What?
I know, it's shocking. It might be next place for you to hit.
Hit?
Well, not hit, but visit.
Visit.
And maybe spread the good word of collected Conquest.
Well, I tend to find that there are numbers of peoples that are drawn to the game by seeing the enjoyment that it brings others. It is truly a landmark and beautiful thing that everyone should be involved in as much as possible. But no more talk of the game until I can sustain myself, yes. And as they say this, they kind of raise their head up and like a serving of like fresh baked bread and a small kind of like meal is prepared for Hassan. And there is in fact like a squeezed thing of tomato juice with celery in it that looks in shape and scope as a Bloody Mary. And you see him go, I knew they had a Bloody Mary. Very good. Thank you. And the server kind of looks to you all and goes, you're welcome. Do y'all happen to need anything else here?
Do you have any tea?
Yes, I can have a pot brought to you. Anything else? You start hearing crunching sounds as Hassan is eating with their mouth open.
I think aside from that, we're great. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Of course. I'll have that tea right up. And they walk away, and within a minute or so of Hassan loudly chewing and eating and wolfing down food, they return with tea and start pouring cups, and every so often staring at this now open-mouthed, black-eyed tiefling, just devouring a meal in front of you all, before like wiping the food from their mouth on their sleeve and kind of going, very good, very good. The tea is served. It's warm. It's not bad. Not the strongest tea you've had, but definitely not anything to sneeze at. It's serviceable at best.
Seems that the road has been rather hard for you. Very hungry fellow.
It often is in my line of duty. Yes, the roads, they are hard. There are a number of roads, in fact, that I find curious. The ones you walk on and the ones that walk on you, yes? How fun. Surely if you come across the wrong road, they are unnegotiable, eh?
Certainly are very difficult paths to walk.
In a manner of speaking, I would say so, yeah?
So you are a distributor and dedicated follower and proposed champion as you would be, who is the producer of the game now that you have your meal?
Haha, of course. Well, there is a predominant creator of the game. They prefer instead to have it promoted as the company behind Collected Conquest. They are known simply as the Sorcerers of the Sea.
Very imaginative.
Is it? They are sorcerers that live seaside. I thought it needed a better name, personally.
It has a nice ring to it. SOS.
Yes, the letters and acronyms all seem to play well together. 1 second.
SOS, help me out of this situation.
Just get up and start running. Just
run. You should run now.
Sorry about that. All right. So yeah, he tells you that.
Yeah.
That sounds. Is it all local to Bone Wharf? Because I had met some fellas that were from there as well while we were on our way down here, actually.
Yeah, that is truly the booming area. I would say that the game was crafted, discovered, and was rather a local tradition introduced so many years ago. Many of us have been playing for a lifetime, you might say. So, I understand then that you're looking to get started?
Yeah, we were all kind of interested. I think I might have the most general card playing experience
Oh.
out of all these folk.
And
we need to play some. I'm not sure about that, JJ.
Well, I don't live quite as long as you do.
there are a number of well-lived individuals that find the game suitable in their long ages. Certainly there are others still who would challenge them, and this competitive spirit is what makes the game worth playing.
Every time I played cards.
What was
Sorry.
that called?
Every time I played cards, it turned into a fist fight, so I'm not very good at it.
Well, that is well covered. A game of Collected Conquest cannot be won by physical violences or challenges, only by the cards on the tables. It is something built into the game itself. In fact, it's a most marvelous thing. Even if, say, your opponent wanted to make the game go away, once started, it can't be stopped. Hell. Apologies for the slip. Even the cards themselves cannot be removed from the table of which they are placed until the game has concluded.
That's weird.
Rather interesting enchantments, but I suppose good to keep everything about the game in order.
Being that it is a very competitive game and there is such a large prize to be sought by those who begin their quest, it is one that we would hopefully see maintained order within, rules in place for such a thing.
Grand prize?
Yes, for the champion of Collected Conquest comes the spoils.
there certainly were gold and card rewards for those that were even playing here last night, if I recall.
Oh, yes,
How
there
much
are minor.
grander is the
Well,
champion's pot?
merely collecting pacts and gold coin wagers off to the sides of the games themselves are quite welcomed and in line with the gambling nature, risk and reward that is often favored by those who play Collected Conquest. That is to say, however, there is the true goal of the game, which is to be crowned champion by defeating the creators. In doing so, you must craft a deck made up of no more than 40 cards, of which your starting will only provide you 20. After you've collected your 40 cards, whether it be by victories over other individuals stealing their wagered antes, or by formulating other packs and openings, rewards, and finding others who might deal in Collected Conquest itself, you can then head to the Grand Championships and challenge the creators of their own game. Should you win, whatever your most heart's desire will be fulfilled. All by, of course, Sorcerers at the Sea Entertainment.
And should you lose?
Well, of course, there are a number of penalties. The high investment the game asks, the monetary aspect of finding the location where the creators are still at, and of course, whatever it is you wager at the tables with each creator are all subject to change from person to person, from individual to individual. But it is said the journey is well worth the trip. No one has yet become Grand Champion, but should you become champion of Collected Conquest, you would be the most honored and powerful individual in all of the realm. As they say this, they pull out a small tarot card that's really beat up, like has folds in it. The corners are frayed, and they set it on the table. And there's like a small illusionary crown, full of jewels and gems that float kind of effortlessly above the card as it kind of astral projects this image. And you see like small, like, it's like staticky. It should be like a bright celebration of fireworks and cheering. And instead it's kind of like every so often, like one firework kind of like, and then it like shimmers and shakes and the crown just kind of floats there. It looks like the card's not all there together.
I keep hearing you say what people are wagering.
Yes.
What do people wager at these tables if not gold and cards?
Gold and cards are how many start, but we who are seekers of the crown, so to speak, wager any number of things that could be of value. Collected Conquest is an investment. It gives you a purpose. It gives you somewhere to be, a place to belong. Friends, in fact, in certain places. The knowledge that you are better than other people. The feeling that you are proficient in something beyond yourself, and the seeking of true glory, power, and your heart's desire. So they wager anything, as is a rule of Collected Conquest. Anything at all, within the purview and power of those playing, may be wagered over a single game of Collected Conquest, of which each owner's deck will ensure the price is paid, if agreed upon.
I have a feeling this could get worse than playing poker or blackjack. Well, I will be honest. We were told each deck chooses the player.
Indeed, they do.
So maybe. Well, okay. All right. I would be interested in seeing what decks you have, but I'm also interested in knowing what people trade, I suppose. If they don't have the 1,000 gold, what that transaction looks like.
Well, that is the way to buy yourself into the game. It is a base price to keep those who can't invest or allow themselves to invest in the game. Individuals possessed of wealth, romantic ideals, or otherwise power in this world often want to be involved without actually risking their own hides, or having... And his dead eye, his white eye, kind of spins a little bit in the socket. Skin in the game, so you might say.
People trade skin? That's kind of weird.
Oh, but anything, yes. I can attribute many of my faults and weaknesses and terriblenesses to the game. Things I have unfortunately lost in my pursuit to be champion, and instead come to be a curator for new players. If you are interested in getting started, I would be happy to provide you one of the many starting decks I carry on me. You would only need to agree and abide by the terms and conditions set forth from Sorcerers of the Sea, and ensure that all of the secrets of the game, once revealed to you, are kept to yourself. Under arcane penalty, of course.
So that's
that
why
explains so much.
we've asked quite a few people to maybe explain it, but that makes
see
sense.
a written copy of these terms and conditions?
Oh, but of course. Everyone is included with a starter deck. And he reaches into one of their coat pockets and produces a kind of like a ratty looking card, much in the same as the crown card they showed. And they set it on the table in front of you, and you see this kind of like illusionary type of text float up, and it's all blurred, illegible, unreadable, and it just says terms, conditions, and rules. He goes, should you agree to join the journey that is Collected Conquest, and agree to be a player, all will be revealed to you. A copy of all is included in every deck of Collected Conquest.
But you have to agree to the terms and conditions before you can read them?
You must agree to be a player before you can read them. Again, you may receive your deck, and then choose never to shuffle, never to play, and there's no penalty for doing so. You simply would have investment, unfulfilled and uninvested. But you would be included in this grand event in Conquest.
And what is that investment?
Well, I suppose that is up to you to be deciding. There are any number of things you could wager. Your looks, your youth, perhaps a finger, or an eye, or nothing so serious. A bit of blood, a bit of your soul. Whatever it is that you want to put into the game will reward you handedly, but it takes that first step to become one of the players of Collected Conquest. Everyone has something they must invest in the game to help it grow and to find the deck that should be theirs. Or you can, of course, buy your way in, or trade it. If you happen to have perhaps an item of unsurmountable wealth or great emotional or personal investment to yourself, it can often be wagered and appraised by one of my appraisal cards. As they say this, Hassan pulls out another ratty-looking, beat-up tarot card and sets it on the table, and you see just like slight kind of flickering purple light box appear, floating and hovering above the table. He goes, if you have an item of such value, you could place it here, and I could tell you if it would be accepted as collateral for your first deck of Collected Conquest. Again, this small investment today could lend you multiple earnings later. Whatever you put on the table, you could just barter or wager on your first match and be on your way to reclaiming all you have invested and much, much more from others. Such is the game.
I'm going to reach in my bag
Mm-hmm.
and pull out my tooth and put it on the card.
You put your tooth on the card? The box glows bright purple and then flashes, and your tooth is missing. And you see the individual kind of smile and look, and as their lips kind of purse and part and become a little bit wider, you can see where once there was a spot where very clearly they were missing a tooth, there's now a tooth sitting in the corner of their mouth. It looks very oddly similar to the tooth you've just put forward, and you hear, "Ah, accepted is this offering of flesh and bone. A deck you shall have, young man."
I thought it was just an appraisal. I wasn't trying to accept anything.
Literally offered a piece of yourself. The
Shit.
appraisal for an item.
Shit, I thought he was going to appraise it first.
Please, do not fret on this, my good friend, and welcome to the Card Masters of Collected Company. A deck you shall have. Please. He reaches into his cloak and produces a very, well-worn and well-played deck of tarot cards and sets them down on the table and starts to one-handedly pile shuffle, just flipping them around between his fingers. He goes, "Each one of the cards here denotes a faction of the game, one that you shall soon be the master of. You are well on your way, my friend, to fanciful things. But you may tell me when you wish to draw, and as many cards off the top as you so wish. There are 34 cards, making up the 34 various factions of Collected Conquest. You choose the card, and the deck shall be yours." As they finish shuffling, which I am currently shuffling, you can pick any card, tell me how many cards to cut off the top, and I will reveal your card to you and what deck you'll be starting with.
Cut off 2 cards off the top and then draw the next one.
2 cards off the top. Okay, let's see here. So, ready? 1, 2, and the next one is the Jack of Clubs. So, let's see here. Oh, sorry, spades. Oh, wow, that's actually really, really fitting. That's really funny. So you get the Jack of Spades, and you see a wonderful deck befitting a soldier. Surely you'll be able to have a number of fun things with this deck. This is known as the Veterans deck. And reaches into their coat pocket and produces a small hand-carved wooden box with a bright, it is a red and gold treatment on the outside, and it looks brand new compared to all the other cards he's shown you, and sets it down in front of you. And on the outside of it is a cross sword and shield. He goes, "In this 20-card starter deck, you will find a collection of individuals and events that make up the various fighting spirits of well-worn and world-weary veterans and warriors from across the plains, many of which you might come to understand, and some of which are yet unawakened. The deck is yours, good sir, Colt Honeycutt."
How do you know my name?
Don't
my
worry.
tooth. Well, enjoy it, I guess. Tooth.
course.
I just wanted to have it appraised. I didn't think it was a trade, but all right, I'll take this deck. Seems pretty cool.
All right. So you can add a Collected Company deck of illusions to your inventory. It functions similarly to a deck of illusions of the same name in 5th edition, except all of your illusions only summon veteran warriors. So individuals that look kind of like you do, in armor and small gear and weapons.
Okay.
And I'll go over the 20-card deck that you have in chat. So I'll send it to you this week.
Cool.
All right.
Well, we've got one person invested in the game.
Sorry, guys. I honestly thought I was
Surprise.
just appraising it. I didn't. It was kind of a joke at first. I didn't think he was gonna just. Oh, yep. Here you go. All right. Yeah, I kind of
How you
fucked
feeling,
up on that
JJ?
one.
Well, I got two options on things that I could praise because I don't think I could sell any bit of myself anymore. But one of the things I think we could maybe see if we could get 2 decks for, but that's up to y'all. At least 2. And it's that bottle.
Oh.
The bottle. 2, maybe 3 decks, because I don't know if I... It's up to
It
y'all on that
is
one.
owned by our group, so it perhaps, if valued high enough, could be worth as such. If one of your appraisers would judge it so.
An item to be appraised, perhaps, but typically there is a 1-to-1 for this such things. What is this item you're curious of?
Should I... I'm not quite sure if we're ready to trade it, but JJ will take it out of her bag and kind of display it in her hand.
Sure. Which one are you displaying?
It's that platinum transmutation bottle that has the weird eyeball on it that we've sealed the shit out of.
Yeah. You display this platinum bottle and he goes, and you can see this small hint of red, like a red dot appear in the black coal that is his left eye, or his right eye. And he looks you over and goes, oh, now this would be very special. I can sense that there is a number of curiosities within the bottle. Should you trade this item, you might get very lucky in your deck.
But it's only worth 1 deck.
Correct, but what a deck it might be. It is all random chance, of course, but such a large investment could lead to a rather powerful start in the game.
I think you should do it.
Well, it's up to y'all. My other option was to trade my ability to play instruments.
Oh.
Ooh, a skill.
Really?
I'm good at it, but you know.
Out of character, you're a bard?
You're a bard.
I'm a lore bard.
As your attorney right now, I need you to reconsider. You are a bard?
An instrument isn't the same as writing a song or even singing it. It's one of her talents, and even as such, the way that she normally operates doesn't...
I don't particularly...
Certainly something I think that's worth the value, if that's something you choose to get rid of.
As your other attorney from another dimension, I will say you do need to do this immediately. Yes, so very good.
Or maybe
JJ,
just my prize loot that I've had since I was probably 7 years old.
A loot would give you a starting deck, of course. A place to be in this world.
I have an item I'm curious if it might be worth a deck.
Of course.
And I will take out the insect spell focus that I got way back from the insect dude body that we fought under the mountain.
Yeah. The individual looks it over and goes, oh, a curious spell focus. Perhaps could be worth a draw of it. I don't sense any personal attachment, but there is value in it, of course. It might lead you to a road you might not want to travel, though.
Well,
Don't
Curious.
say that to her.
I am well versed in traveling, such interesting roads, but I hate to be called the only player in our group.
But what a player he is, eh?
Orville, you were interested too. Do you have
Got
anything
that right.
in particular?
What do I have?
He looks across the table to all of you and goes, "Please, if there's anything you have questions of, I will be happy to help you, eh?" He looks at Bucky, and he directly like looks at you, and like you see like a small curiosity, and goes, "Oh, I must apologize. You are unable to join the game."
Why is that?
You are on loan from something else.
Oh, I see. And does that make the people that do play this game on loan from someone on your end?
I would say that those people, the players, the card masters themselves, are all individuals possessed of very much a similar vein, but albeit much more powerful than the plant in your gut.
I see. Well then, certainly won't be trying to get a deck for myself.
Oh, yes. A shame. You could, of course, exchange your connection. Trade up, as they say.
No thanks.
A shame. I
have a purpose.
Oh, but you would have a much grander purpose. Of that I assure you.
That's okay. I'll pass on your little game.
Game it may be, but little it is not. It is not as rooted as what you currently follow. More able to be managed, traded, and manipulated for the benefit of those who endeavor to play.
Well, good luck with that.
Oh, the best of luck to all who play the game. So then, will anyone else be signing up, or are we concluded here? I must thank you for the meal, of course.
Orville?
I got a couple of things on tap here.
Of course.
Bucky kind of like leans over and says, "Y'all know that you're making a pact with something, right? Just so we're clear."
Did you just now catch on to that?
Yeah.
It's
I've been there, done that, and
might be some devil or some kind of raw deal.
Kind of late for me now.
Yeah. It all depends on the path you wish to walk, but I can assure you, there are a number of people you can pact with for additional cards. Not just devil.
What you got, Or? Big Or?
Well, I've got tons of a couple of kinds that I don't practice much often anymore. I've also got I've got a skill that doesn't serve me too well.
A skill?
A skill.
Of course, if you want to wager it away, then I would be happy to take it from you in exchange to begin your journey towards championship.
I'll take it. Yeah, let's. How do we do this?
Well, first you state what it is you're giving up, and I will provide you a deck
Oh goodness. And the skill really perked his thing. He wasn't really biting on the ability to speak languages.
It's all the same thing to him. The skill seems a bit more of an investment, so it's what he would suggest. But if you do want to get rid of a language, it's something he also gave nod to that it would probably be accepted.
Yeah, let's go with the skill.
Okay.
I will. I'll put my proficiency with sleight of hand on the table.
Ooh, your ability to sneak a few things, move your hands dexterously, and the training that accompanies it is a rather curious proposition, one I think deserving an advanced starting deck. Would you accept this term? You need only place your hand above the appraisal and speak such a thing.
Slowly but steadily, Orville will move his hand over the appraisal and accept the terms.
Okay. You see the box glow. There is a bead and pull from it. You can feel your hands become sluggish. You feel your joints seize up ever so slightly, and you feel a very much pull out of your very body. Again, Hassan kind of takes this ratted deck of cards and holds it up to you and goes, "So then," and continues to shuffle it. "Welcome. I will provide to you an advanced deck to begin with. A good, above average starting point, I would say. So, how many cards to cut from the top?"
3 off the top, please.
3 off the top. On stream. 1, a 2, a 3. And your card is the Ace of Diamonds. Let's see here. Oh, okay. That's actually really good. So you see Hassan go and rifle through his cloak and then produce a small box made out of metal. It's actually like of a brass material and small heavy chains that link the box closed. It kind of shakes and rattles a bit. And he sets it in front of you and he goes, "A deck befitting your offering to start. This deck contains sight beyond sight, the ability to negate, to twist and bend reality. The power within it is questionable, as many of its cards are perceived to be fairly weak, but it contains a most powerful, game-ending and winning combination strategy, and that is the Eye of the Beholder deck." So, you can put down that you have a Collected Conquest deck of illusions, Beholder, +1. It functions similarly as a deck of illusions, except the change is that all of the cards included are various types of cultists and creatures that predominantly worship and serve beholders. You also have a special creature in your deck, of which you have a single copy of a bright purple scaled beholder. Of course, you also have a terms and conditions card included, and a effectively like a deck tracker for how close you are for. You're not quite sure. It's kind of like a blank card, and Colt, you'll find that too when you open your deck eventually. But it is the crown card he showed you. He will state to both of you that once you are able to challenge one of the creators, it will provide instructions on how to do so.
All right.
Alrighty.
I don't want to offer the bottle without at least majority saying it's okay.
I'm okay with it.
I don't mind it.
Personally.
Go for it.
That's what you want to do with it. I can't say right off that we'd have any better use. It is like you look worth a very good draw for you if this is what you want to do.
Well, I just don't know what we do with it, with how it was being transported. when we found it.
You, of course, could always take that item. It is after only a container of some sort.
I could offer you the insides.
You could offer the entire thing. I don't want something that can't be contained.
That is fair. It certainly needs to be in there.
Yes. As they say this, you see Hassan shuffling and remixing the deck of starting deck cards together with much more speed and gusto than before, and a dexterity that was seemingly unnatural to him a second ago. He's now like bridging the cards and like doing like full square shuffles. So, is our business concluded, or are you going to stay?
JJ will put the bottle over the thing.
Okay. It flashes. You see it swirl up, and the bottle disappears from sight. And you hear, ah. And then you see the card flash a bright gold. You go, ah, yes. A very rare starting deck has been procured for this offering, most grand and most powerful as it is. There is no draw for what you might get. There is one that has been sought after and selected for you. You may reach forward and grasp it.
She will do slow.
Okay. You reach forward. Let me see here. It should be...
Firmly grasp it.
Firmly grasp it. I think it is one of the things here. Oh, no, it's not. Yeah, so it is the specialty one. Okay. So yeah, you reach through and you pull forward a deck and you start feeling this gross, slimy, gooey feeling at the tips of your fingers. Let me see here. Let's see here. Yeah. You pull forward a deck that is dripping. It seems to be made out of some type of glass, and you can see the cards clear and pristine inside. The outside of the deck itself has a large eye matching the container you gave away. And Hassan looks to you and goes, "A deck befitting the offering given from one such as yourself in possession of such a thing. You have before you a collected Conquest deck of illusions in service to Goander, the god of oozes. May it bring sickening plagues upon your opponents." It is a +3 deck. But as you hold it, it's a deck box that's made out of glass. But as you touch it, like, it always feels slimy and gross to the touch.
Great.
Yes. Do be careful with that deck, as a professional courtesy.
Yes, sir. I shall.
Yes. Simply put, sometimes you might want to achieve a win without overwhelming victory. For in such circumstances, you might truly tap into something special.
Understood.
Now then, will that conclude our business, or is anyone else interested in getting started?
I think I'll pass for now. Perhaps if another day.
Very good. And either of you? I see one who cannot, unless he wants to invest heavily, and another who has yet to speak a word. Truly there must be some interest in there. Something you're willing to give up to join your friends in merriment.
I don't think so this time.
Very good then. And for you, Mr. Sater?
I'll stick with what I got, thanks.
Very good as well. So then, if it is all the same to you three, I would kindly ask that you leave the table so we might discuss things between myself and our 3 new players. A bit of an introductory, if at all possible.
Of course.
Yep.
Enjoy your games, everyone.
Thank
And I will
you.
get up with a cup of tea.
Head off. All right. So, with that, you head up, you head off. The 3 of you give some time to the group. Each of you, the 3 of you remaining, JJ, Orville, and Colt, you all 3 now have collected Conquest decks of illusion. So they function as a deck of illusion. If you're not quite sure, Hassan will explain to you. This is a set of parchment cards. They're full-size tarot cards. A full deck has 34 cards. The decks that you have, at this point, Colt, you have a full 20 cards. Orville, you have 21 cards. And JJ, you have 23 cards. As you gain more cards that are in sequence or in order of your deck, you'll be able to get other bonuses. The game is played over 3 rounds for Collected Conquest. To start a game, Hassan explains, you must first wager something to be won or lost by an individual. This can be any arbitrary thing that you most desire, or anything you're hoping your opponent to lose. But note, they can ask the same of you, and with agreements made, the game begins. You shuffle, you draw, and you play. The game of Collected Conquest, attempting to further your goal. The game is played out over 3 rounds. An early game, a mid-game, and a late game. At each phase of the game, you will take turns between your opponent and yourself, placing various resources, effects, and monsters to the field to defend and fight for your deck's conquest over the lands. With this, and as the meta part of it, through the early game, the mid game, and the late game, you'll be able to roll off. It's a dice check using your deck's bonus versus the other person. So in the early game, you would roll. And Colt, being that you have a normal deck, you would roll with a +0, just a straight up D20 roll. Orville, you'd have a +1.
Boo-boo deck.
JJ, you have a +3 at this current time. They let you know if it is ever a tie, it's a push to the next round. The goal is to win, the first person to win 2 rounds wins the match. And it's just 3 dice challenges, one after another. However, if at any time you beat your opponent's total by 5 or more, it's considered to be 2 victories in that round. If you beat an opponent's total by 10 or more, it's an overwhelming victory. And if you do so in the first round, it's called an OTK, a 1-turn kill. If you win by OTK in this game, you're allowed to ask a second condition of which your opponent has to agree to. You're also provided a full list of terms and conditions on there. Chief among them is that the rules of the game, how the cards interact and play, of which Hassan will teach you all to be moderately proficient in your own decks, at least how they work. Colt, you note that your deck is primarily very middling, strong individuals that you then provide weapons, equipment, and armor to in your deck, and you'll be provided a card list of 20 cards later this week. It primarily contains soldiers and veterans of war that you can then equip with weapons, relics, armor, and other types of armaments to better defeat your opponents. Everything from ballista to small, heavy crossbow batteries that you'd be able to use. Effectively, your deck revolves around the notion of taking a single creature, making them into a fit soldier, and sending them into battle to defeat everything in their path. Let's see here. Orville, yours is a very, very simple deck. Your deck is all about in service to a beholder. Much of your deck is about denial, shutting down, removing, and stealing other elements of the game from your opponents in an effort to collect and summon the notice of the beholder of your deck. Once it is summoned, it is one of the most powerful monsters that is said to be in the game. And with it, it brings wrath and destruction. It also has advantages against any deck that has the, I think it's, let me see here, the Archmage or Mage subtype you have advantage against in your rolls. All right. And then, JJ, you, of course, have a very special deck in service to Gwandar. That's Ghaunadaur. Gwandar is explained to you as an elder evil, a great old one that has long since fallen away from public notice. The deck is very strange, predominantly made of people investigating, searching, and rooting out sources of Gwandar. Minor oozes are prevalent in your deck in various ways to both play them as creatures as well as to attach or otherwise combine them with regular normal type creatures. The purpose of the deck is to drive your opponent's creatures insane to work for you, stealing control of them back away from them and towards working for you, or to sacrifice them and summon Gwandar to the game. Hassan warns you that doing so and winning by this very special win condition could result in unforeseen effects. So, with that, JJ, to trigger your win condition in this way, you must roll a natural 20 on either the mid or late game. In doing so, you have the option to trigger your special win condition.
Heard.
Okay, cool. With that, Hassan looks to you all, having explained the rules of the game, how to play, and kind of the general theming of your deck as you look over the various illusionary cards, and looks to you all and goes, "Now, with that being said, the creators of the game, of course, want to start every new individual off with a bit of a booster, a way to make your deck immediately stronger if you are willing to follow one of their 3 tenets. There, of course, is the tenet of the dealer, and as they show this, you see a card flip up that shows a red, smiling, horned face of what appears to be a tiefling individual with a missing eye, similar to Hassan. The dealer, of course, provides a number of curiosity and rare abilities to decks. You can go in service of the Fiend and Fallen One, and shows you an image of this blackened, faded card of a very tall individual, lanky, with dark faded skin, bright purple eyes, and long white hair, and says, "This individual of the Fallen has agreed to participate in the game so that servants may imbibe from their power. They enjoy providing their pact makers with a bit of power and strength in the items and worship of their deck. And, of course, finally, there is the Chaotic One. I'm not quite sure what their deck gives them, but many people seem to partake in this." And they show you a card of what looks like a skeleton in a bright blonde wig. Each of the 3 pact makers of the game are more than able to provide your deck additional power and accoutrement, but it is your choice off the start if you wish to partake in such pacts with otherworldly beings.
So what are our choices again?
The dealer, the Fallen, and the Chaos. Again, these are optional choices. A small pact to be paid to have a bit of a boost to your beginning days, but if not, you can always take your chances at the tables with anyone who is a member of the game. If your stunned silence is too much, then I will simply thank you for all that you have provided and leave you in peace.
I'll pick the chaos.
The chaos. A very good boost to start. I must warn you that impacting with the chaos can negatively affect your draws, perhaps.
Well, it's fine.
All right. Well, if it is fine, then very good. They hand you a card, and you place your hand upon it. You hear this, and you feel this kind of burning light trail out from this card. A small, it's like almost like this burnt-looking black piece of paper appears where the card once was, and inside you can feel a few cards in it. So, if you'd like to add that your now Collected Conquest veteran deck of illusions is in pact, or has a patron of chaos. Specifically, at the beginning of any game you play while pacted with chaos, you choose evens or odds. If your dice roll is evens, and your opponent's, and you called evens, you can re-roll your dice. If you don't call it, however, you turn your dice down by 2 numbers.
I may need, like, some of these rules you may need to, like, type out to me
I will.
or something.
It's going to happen this
Like, there's, like, so much.
Woohoo! So, yeah.
So, choose evens or odds. I can do that once per game at the beginning of the game.
At the beginning of the game, every game, that's not a choice. At the beginning of every game, you choose evens or odds. Whenever you roll a dice to wager for Collected Conquest, if you roll whatever you called, you can choose to re-roll. If you roll what you didn't call, you lower your dice result by 2. You detriment your dice by 2.
Okay.
So yeah, there's that. He looks to Orville and to JJ. Well, if that is going to be all.
Is there one that you would suggest maybe for our deck types?
I cannot lean a suggestion in any one particular way, methodology, or strategy. The packs are very personal, and in doing so to bolster your Collected Conquest deck must be done in a way befitting your personal choice on your deck of cards.
Well, then I got one more question about that then.
Of course.
Do fiends and demons get along all right? For any sort of reason?
I can say that there are often times that you might find agreeable sorts in the chaos and lawality of much of the world. Many demons find refuge in the solace of deals and trades, whereas I don't think many crazed individuals care so long as their end goal is fulfilled.
We'll take that fiend middle guy.
Of the Fallen?
Yeah, the Fallen. That
All
one.
right. So, you place your hand upon that pack. You feel a bright burning, at first there's like a flame that kicks out and it turns blue. Then you feel this chill, freezing cold touch the tips of your fingers, and a black pack of cards appears underneath your hands. We'll go over what that is afterwards. But you can now add that you now have a patron to your deck of the Fallen. What you gain for that, in addition to the new cards that you've earned, is your deck now has the ability to forego winning a round in exchange for a +5 bonus on the following round.
Jesus.
So even if you were to win, you can choose to lose a round on purpose for a +5 on your next roll.
Oh, she gonna OTK some people.
No, you can't do it. You have to do it on turn 1 for the OTK. So you'd have to lose a round first, which could also be rough. You don't know.
So JJ is just Yugi Moto over here, just straight up.
Trying
Tank,
to
tanks.
Mhm.
Slam.
Slimy
Slam.
Yugi Moto.
slimy. My grandfather's deck has no weak cards, Kaiba. And then he proceeds to cheat for 6 episodes. That's what we do. And then Orville, is there
Yeah,
a
we'll
pack?
back of the dealer. We'll get the full spectrum going.
Okay, very good. You go Pact to the Dealer. You put your hand to the card. You can feel almost like a steely resolve. There's a bit of like determination that fills your very soul, and something kind of creeps in and seems to kind of almost put a weight of hands on your shoulders and a small massage. You can almost hear a whisper in your ear of, you've chosen well. You can now put that you have a patron for your deck in service to the dealer. Once per game, you can choose to take a -5 to your result to force your opponent to reroll.
Alrighty. That's certainly something.
All right. So, with that, yeah, that'll be all 3 of your decks have been given, and you all received a booster pact with one of the 3 big pact makers of Collected Conquest. So I will type up the rules for that and kind of go from there. No problem at all. And you have begun your path onto Collected Conquest. Actually, I think I do have... yeah, I actually do have art of all 3 of the pact makers if you guys want to see that. I don't know if that's like a thing you want to see or not. Okay.
Fuck
Sure,
yeah.
absolutely.
I think the audience should see it, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
they should know
I think
who
the
they're
audience
dealing
should
with.
know the 3 folks. they're
We
dealing
know.
with at
That's
this
fine.
point.
Most of us know.
I think it's really tongue in cheek, but yeah, that's kind of fine actually. So we'll do this. Okay, so there is a reason I got certain things done pretty ahead of schedule. So for the Pact of the Dealer, we'll start there.
I'll get in on this card game when I can get the Pact of the Prankster and I can get Grimclon.
Oh my god.
These are just 3 packs this guy has. So this is the art that is depicted for the Pact of the Dealer.
Oh,
Yeah.
I knew it. I knew it.
My guy.
All right. I think I have the Pact of the Fallen is the next one.
And while you're pulling it up to clue in like the audience, these are characters that we have run into in our own respective campaigns with Josh in previous campaigns. I won't go into too much detail if they're spoilers, but they're just characters that we've run into that are notorious and people love to hate.
Other worlds,
And love
hate
to
to
love.
love.
times, individuals who,
Oop, wrong one.
well, they make sense to have a little grasp beyond
Hold on.
their own.
Oop, wrong one. I have it here. What the fuck? Where did it go?
Who could that be?
I don't know. Any guy.
Who
Could
could
be
it
anyone.
be? It
Who could
couldn't
it be?
be.
You can't get away from him, JJ.
I know.
I have
Think
to
of
get
this.
her
Oh, there it is.
art now. I have to get her art.
There we go.
Oh,
What was
what
that?
you're saying?
There we go. And there we go. That's the art they would give you.
Cued in.
Yeah.
My first character is married to that character.
Fun guy. I
He's
don't know what
a
you're
good
talking
guy.
about. It's a good guy.
To my players, you know about the bakeries this man's responsible for.
Hey, he's a great guy. What am I talking about? And then, of course, to no surprise at all, the Pact of Chaos is made with this individual.
Yep, my boy. That's my boy right there. I love
the best
to hate.
headmaster a
Love
school
to
could
hate
have.
Wah!
So yeah, There we go. So those are the three pact makers. The first image shown for the dealer is done by Figure 404 Art. I'll add their stuff down below. The next two are from Tater. I think it's Tater Art or Tater Ta Art. I can never remember on Twitter. I think I'll have to add them down below as well for the About Us, but I'll make sure I update that stuff for showing their art on stream. I'm not sure that I did it ahead of time, which I should have, but I didn't want to because I didn't want to spoil the surprise. So yeah. Collected Conquest, super fun game that has no ramifications or otherworldly influences, I swear. So yeah. I think that's a pretty good place to stop for the night. So yeah, everyone gets their, three of you get your Collected Conquest decks. The other three of you await further things there. But we will call pause to it. Where to, this one? Nope, wrong one. I moved Hassan's photo, but so yeah, Hassan will thank you all for your generous offerings and investments into Collected Conquest, bids you well on your journey to accomplish great things in this game, and looks forward to your eventual successes or failures in such a thing. To that, I think we're going to stop here. Hassan will exit the tavern, thanking each of you for your contributions to the game and welcome you to the game itself. We, of course, here at Second Wake, thank everyone for tuning in as well. Let's, I think that's where we want to stop. Anyone else have anything they want to accomplish before we call it for the week?
No.
No? All right. Nice little nod and feelers out to folks that are feeling it and having fun. Let's see here. Nope, they're on break. We'll switch over for let's do that.
Thank you, by the way, to those who stayed from the raid that we got.
Oh geez, we got a raid?
Yep.
We had a hype
Table Troop
train?
raided us. Yeah.
Oh geez, thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it.
I didn't want to stop your flow, but thank you guys very much.
Gotta get the flow it up. Gotta get that flow rider.
We try not to interrupt our games. That's why you might have seen us say some things in comments, but we like to keep the game moving, not distract the DM from things. So
yeah, of course. I do appreciate you guys.
Entertainment stays.
Yeah, if you stuck around from the raid, thank you so much. We are Second Wake. These are the Seekers of Galanti. We play Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition every Monday night from 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until roughly like 10. We try to shoot for 10. It tends to be 10:30, 11 though. We put all of our rebroadcasts up on YouTube. There's a link. If you click the big lich in our About Us page, it'll link you to our Discord. And then there is a link down below for going to our YouTube where all of our videos are re-uploaded and cut to where they're more concise and there's less like ha, hawing and hemming. So yeah, there's all that. We're going to raid Ink and Ire. Looks like they are about 2 hours in for their Fate's End campaign. They're super fun people, so we'll raid them. We have a thing on this channel called Always Be Raiding. If you're a subscriber to the channel, you will have a little Vel emote, which is Velinar, Zanus's Gelfling OC. We try to use her as our Goblin Raid Master, so spam that in the chat when you raid in, and we thank you for sticking with us, and if you followed or subscribed or any of that stuff, thank you so much. I don't keep chat open, so I don't know, but I will see it soon, and I'll thank you when you can't hear me. We'll go from here to start the raid. Seriously, thank you guys for checking us out. I really appreciate them for raiding us and having all that fun. I wish we had more stuff to like be like, oh, look at that, oh, great. But we don't. Anyway, thank you all for hanging out with us tonight. I hope you guys have a great Monday. Remember, someone out there loves you. You are enough. We'll see you next week. Peace out.